Chapter 39. The speed at which you two quarrel is not proportional to the speed at which you two reconcile. Qin Yutong didn't forget to tease Xianxia a little. This is the pair that quarreled fiercely and reconciled the fastest. Look at them now, they are even hugging each other. Yi Hua said faintly, your sister only has this bit of ability. Yi Hua, if you want to quarrel, just say it, I will accompany you to the end. You are pregnant, your emotions need to be stable, if not it will not be good for the child. Yi Hua reminded. Recently he had been reading books on this topic. You still know that pregnant women cannot get excited. Xianxia glared at Yi Hua. Yi Hua said faintly, as long as you are obedient we can still be together. Who cares? Brother-in-law, big sister, can the two of you not hug each other when you are quarreling? This way there won't be the feeling of quarreling. Qin Yutong couldn't take it anymore. How is this quarreling? This is completely like showing off your love. Shut up. Shut up. Qin Yutong let out a deep sigh. You two can only bully a little girl like me who has no temper. Allow me to go and change my clothes. 10 minutes later Qin Yutong changed back into Xianxia, and she even changed into a sexy outfit, a tight black one-piece dress, and then there was no then. Brother-in-law, how is it? Isn't it sexy? Qin Yutong stood in front of Yi Hua and spun around. Xianxia snorted. She really wanted to kick Qin Yutong out, but thinking about how her little sister helped her in the morning, she decided to let her off this time. Yi Hua's gaze revealed out praise. This is more like it, getting to sleep on my bed. Not bad, much better than before. Qin Yutong said craftily, so brother-in-law likes this kind of stuff. Big sister heard that. Pa. Xianxia raised her hand and slapped Xianxia. Xianxia touched her butt and said with a face of grievance, brother-in-law, big sister hit my butt. Alright, let's go. Yi Hua said faintly. Qin Yutong stuck out her tongue towards her big sister and held onto Yi Hua's arm, causing Xianxia to almost go berserk. The three of them did not drive out of the house. After walking out of the alley, they arrived at the roadside and Xianxia finally couldn't take it anymore. Look at what you two are like. What's wrong? I didn't even touch brother-in-law's buttocks. This is the etiquette of holding hands. Qin Yutong quibbled. Qin Yutong wanted to see her big sister's appearance of caring, and at the same time showing that she didn't care. Yi Hua nodded his head, true. Brother-in-law is wise. Looking at the two of them echoing each other, Xianxia was angered to the point that her hands were trembling. He is obviously my husband, yet he is being held by my younger sister. Ah. There are still empty seats here. Yi Hua reminded. Are you giving me charity? I'm not going to help you. Brother-in-law, everyone thinks that I'm your wife. Big sister is your sister-in-law. Qin Yutong laughed coquettishly and hugged onto Yi Hua's arm tightly. This kind of peculiar stimulation was something that only Yi Hua was able to feel. Being hugged by my sister-in-law in front of my wife, this feels great. Xianxia couldn't take it anymore and held onto Yi Hua's hand with an expression that said, I am his wife. Yi Hua laughed lightly, then hugged onto Xianxia's willow waist, and did not hug onto Qin Yutong. This made Xianxia feel much more balanced, and Xianxia was completely unaware that Yi Hua was taking advantage of her. Brother-in-law, let's go and eat fish, that shop looks pretty good. Qin Yutong pointed at the shop that was not far away from them, and the shop was called World Peace. The exterior of the shop was well decorated and looked very stylish. Yi Hua asked Xianxia, do you want to eat fish? Anything. Eating fish is quite good for pregnant women. Yi Hua brought the two sisters and walked towards the shop. On the way all the men wished that they could kill Yi Hua. Beauties are a rare species, let alone a pair of beautiful twins. They are definitely rare among rare, and I actually have two of them. One has a fierce aura and the other is sexy and charming. Aren't these two goddesses that dropped down from the sky? Walking into World Peace Fish Shop, the business of this shop was indeed pretty good, and the decoration was also very romantic. At the entrance of the shop, ornamental fishes were displayed. Of course, not all of them were ornamental fishes, it was just that the price was expensive. Is there a private room? Xianxia asked faintly. The waitress was still shocked by the appearance of this woman and didn't react for a moment. In actuality, all the men in the hall were looking towards this direction. They're beautiful twins, right? And all the women were looking at Yi Hua, and their saliva was about to drop into their bowls. Sorry, the private room is already full, there is only that table at the corner left. The waitress seemed to not be very confident, mainly because Xianxia's aura was too strong, It seemed as if she was looking for someone to negotiate with. Looking towards that table at the corner, it really is at the corner. When had Yi Hua and Xianxia ever sat at such a table before? The two of them came to a consensus at the same time, and that was to leave. However, Qin Yutong had already walked over. What else could Yi Hua and Xianxia do? Could it be that they were going to leave Qin Yutong behind? Yutong, let's go to another place to eat. Xianxia sat down and said faintly. Qin Yutong looked at the menu and said, what other place? It is good to sit at the corner, lest I get recognized by others. Moreover, this place is overcrowded, the fish would definitely not be bad. Look, it is so ridiculously expensive, it would definitely be delicious. Does your so-called delicious food mean that it is expensive? Xianxia said with a black face. You get what you pay for. If it is not delicious, we will just make a fuss, brother-in-law, what do you say? Qin Yutong seemed to want to make a fuss. Yi Hua didn't have the mood to make a fuss and said calmly, you all can do as you please. Wow, there's actually caviar chocolate pudding here, big sister, quickly take a look. Qin Yutong seemed to be very excited, and Xianxia also became interested. Taking over the menu and taking a look, this unremarkable shop actually has so many top-quality products. And the difficulty of making this top-quality caviar chocolate pudding was extremely high. Although the ingredients used were naturally top quality, the price was not something that ordinary people could afford to eat. Just this small piece cost 200k. Brother-in-law, look at this bluefin tuna, I haven't eaten it for a long time. There are also gooseneck barnacles, two-headed abalone, 66666, big sister, just who opened this shop? There are so many amazing things here. Qin Yutong could be considered to be an international celebrity. She had eaten a lot of delicacies, but right now she was sighing in admiration. Take this bluefin tuna for example, 200 plus kg was worth around 4 million. And this gooseneck barnacle was known as the golden seafood. 1 kilogram was worth over 10,000. Actually, the most expensive one was the caviar chocolate pudding. The caviar used was Iran's Overmars caviar. It was extremely rare, filled with 24k gold. 1 kilogram was worth 200k. Brother-in-law, what are you staring blankly for? Order the dishes. Qin Yutong said. Yi Hua could be considered to have experienced what was called a rich person after this meal without at least a few million. This shop is very interesting. Are you sure you want to order such expensive food? Yi Hua asked, feeling a little heartache. One must know that normally Yi Hua would only order takeout, and at most he would impulsively spend a few hundred. This time he ordered over 1 million in one go, and he even had to eat a meal. His heart ached. Seems like Yi Hua had really changed in these 5 years. He became someone who knew how to save money. In the end, it was still a habit. The Yi Hua in the past did not need to worry about money. Only after coming here did he know that money indeed comes quickly, but it has to be legal. Chapter 40. Yi Hua, it can't be that you have never eaten it before, right? Xianxia seized the opportunity to tease Yi Hua. Yi Hua had indeed never eaten such expensive food before, but that did not mean that he had never eaten higher-class food before. Xianxia, have you eaten dragon meat before? Yi Hua asked faintly. Brother-in-law is starting to act cool again. I have to cover my eyes. While speaking, Qin Yutong really covered her eyes, looking sexy yet cute. Xianxia was still very cooperative. Why are you covering your eyes? I'm afraid that I'll be blinded by brother-in-law's power. Yi Hua, when I have time I will bring you two to eat dragon meat. Red infant flood dragon's meat is also not bad. Xianxia, you are pregnant right now, you need to nourish yourself. Speaking up to here, Yi Hua had to ask Lai Gu to go and get some food for Xianxia. It's all my fault for being careless. I forgot that Xianxia needs nourishment and I have to prepare more food for her. Qin Yutong covered her face and said, Brother-in-law, if I don't act cool I would still be your sister-in-law. This time around Xianxia didn't laugh at Yi Hua and said faintly, Ba, it would be great if you don't get angry. From the looks of it she didn't believe Yi Hua's words at all. However, towards Yi Hua's concern her heart still felt warm. Yi Hua laughed lightly and did not say anything. Of course they wouldn't understand. Right now I will contact Lai Gu and ask him to make a trip over. If Lai Gu is still together with that celebrity I will stew Lai Gu into soup and drink it at night. Upon receiving Yi Hua's message, Lai Gu immediately went to get the ingredients. Because His Honor really knows how to stew dragon bones and he even wants me to drink the soup. This is simply savage and inhumane. Under the astonished gaze of the waiter, Xianxia finished ordering the dishes and began waiting. Xianxia discovered that the people who were eating in the hall didn't order such expensive dishes. Instead, they ordered king crab and Australian lobster. Xianxia cried out in alarm. Yihua seemed to be preparing to look at the Australian lobster. Who knows, I might even have to peel the lobster later on, it's so big. Yihua, look at me. Xianxia held on to Yihua's face and turned him around. Sister, you don't have to do this. I'm still single. Why don't you give me half of your brother-in-law? Yihua nodded his head. Yutong's idea is not bad. The two of you are scoundrels. Xianxia said indignantly. Yihua stretched out his hand and stroked onto Xianxia's cheek. Don't worry, I won't order such a big lobster for you to peel. This fellow actually saw through it. Not only did he not say anything, he made a fool of himself. He was simply terrible. Little sisters, my surname is Zhang and my name is Tiankai. I wonder if I can have the honor to invite you two to have lunch together. After all, no matter how good the seafood is, it will be tasteless without the company of a beautiful woman. A man wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses appeared in front of the three of them in a refined and courteous manner. He spoke eloquently. Not bad. However, you're trying to poach someone in front of the Supreme Sovereign. Isn't this like lighting a lamp in the toilet? You're looking for shit. Then continue to be boring. Yihua said coldly. Such a weak and small human doesn't even deserve to talk to me. However, I really couldn't help but want to slap this human flying away and disturb my peace. Zhang Tiankai rubbed his eyes and said seriously, Mister, do you know how rude you are? I'm inviting you to stay silent. Xianxia and Qin Yutong immediately laughed, and when they looked at Yihua's expression they felt like laughing. However, the two sisters did not point it out. This is too bad. This ignorant human actually told me to shut up. Who gave him the guts to do this? Where did he get his confidence from? Zhang Tiankai once again revealed out a gentleman's smile. Ladies, my table has top-notch king crab, Australian lobster, top-notch Hokkaido red-haired crab, top-notch foie gras, rare caviar, and... Shut up! Yihua shouted out coldly, and a strange red light shone out from his pair of eyes. Zhang Tiankai seemed to have seen a terrifying skull quietly rising into the air and opening its pitch-black mouth, wanting to swallow him. Xianxia and Qin Yutong didn't expect that Yihua would really get angry, because even they themselves got a fright. How could Yihua not get angry? A fly running in front of you buzzing non-stop, but it's a pity that I can't step on it to death. Because I am currently in the period of abstaining from killing, this kind of contradiction made Yihua very vexed. Therefore, normally Yihua wouldn't go out because he didn't want to meet with this kind of fool. Ruining 5 years of cultivation for a fool is not worth it at all. Zhang Tiankai came back to his senses. What happened to me just now? To actually be scared by this man, I lost so much face. Mister, don't think that you can casually bully people just because you are handsome. This kind of behavior will be condemned. Xianxia knew that Yihua was very angry, but she seemed to be holding it in for some reason and shouted out coldly, Enough, it is not your turn to judge my husband. That's right, why don't you go back and eat your abalone and lobster? Qin Yutong naturally stood on Yihua's side and intimately leaned on Yihua's side. Yihua let out a sigh of relief, feeling that this can't go on. I have to think of a way to punish these humans who like to act cool. Slapping them to death with a single slap definitely won't work. Then I will just make them jealous of what I can't get. Yihua could be seen hugging onto the two sisters, and the two sisters cried out in surprise, their faces and ears flushed red, especially Qin Yutong. You can only look at them forever, you won't even be able to touch a single hair of theirs. You are even more unworthy to dine with them. Yihua felt that he had become better and more humane. Zhang Tiansai's eyes revealed out a look of jealousy as he snorted, What can you give them, a man who can't even afford a king crab? Mister, please move aside. Don't bother me. Zhang Tiankai shouted angrily. Mister, please move aside. This sentence was clearly a warning, causing Xianxia's willowy brows to wrinkle. This restaurant is so awesome. Zhang Tiankai turned his head around angrily. What are you doing? The customer at this table ordered the bluefin tuna. Our chef will slice it into fish fillets right in front of the customers. Move aside. Looking at the 200+ kg bluefin tuna, Zhang Tiankai was dumbfounded. Not only Zhang Tiankai, the surrounding customers were also dumbfounded. I have never seen someone order such an expensive fish in the main hall before. Today I have broadened my horizons. Zhang Tiankai quietly retreated. I actually stepped on an iron nail. Luckily I didn't bleed, this scared me to death. I should just go back and eat king crab, this kind of fish is too extravagant just by looking at it. Brother-in-law, you are taking advantage of me, Qing Yutong shouted out as if she was afraid that her big sister couldn't hear her. As expected, Qing Ye's face darkened, taking advantage of my sister-in-law in front of my wife. For the first time Yi Hua was a bit embarrassed. Misunderstanding. Humph, who is misunderstanding? You are using us to show off how awesome you are, right? Qing Ye said, her tone was filled with jealousy. Qing Yutong was about to explode from laughing in her heart. Big sister even said that she doesn't like it, and yet the taste of jealousy is so strong. Yi Hua was helpless. I just don't want to casually kill people, that's all. Yi Hua said, I will treat you to a good meal tonight. Who cares? Qing Ye said, her tone had clearly eased up. Chapter 41. Every part of the bluefin tuna had its own price. Some parts were expensive while others were cheap. The belly of the bluefin tuna was rich in oil, tender and pink in color. It melted in one's mouth and tasted delicious. This was the most expensive part. The middle and back of the bluefin tuna had a moderate amount of oil. The taste of the meat was inferior and the color was lighter, so it was slightly cheaper. What the three of them mainly ate was the fish meat with big belly. Yi Hua also tasted the fish meat for a bit and felt that it was ordinary. It might be that I ate too many birds and beasts in the past, and right now I am only interested in crayfish. A few years ago I even continuously ate instant noodles and spicy sticks for an entire month. It's delicious. Qing Yutong had an infatuated look on her face, and although Qing Ye did not show it on her face, the happy expression on her face was able to explain everything. Yi Hua placed down his chopsticks. The two of them have never eaten anything better than this. Tonight I will let them experience what is called delicacies. Bang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out. The customers in the restaurant looked up and saw a girl standing there in a daze. There were also a few porters and the ground was covered with glass shards. There was also a bright red fish jumping around and there was a broken dish beside it. The red fish jumped a few times and calmed down a lot. Its tail was raised and it seemed like it was about to die. There was blood in the water. It seemed like the fish was injured when it fell. Oh my god, that should be the blood-red dragon. This kind of arowana is really rare. I didn't expect the owner of this shop to buy one, but it looks like it's hopeless. That girl is really careless. This blood-red dragon is worth at least 5 million. It's clearly the porter's problem. How could you blame a girl? The blood-red dragon on the ground flapped its tail weakly. Its blood-red scales were like its own blood, and its slightly raised head could no longer display its domineering aura of a king. Yi Hua looked at the fish on the ground and it was as if he was looking at himself. Back then how glorious was I? Yet I was crazily attacked by the humans and in the end I could only wait for death to come. After coming back to life I will think of ways to understand the humans, only then will I not repeat the same mistake. Yi Hua, that seems to be your employee, right? Qing Ye said. Yi Hua took a look and it was indeed one of my employees. I didn't expect that she would work here during the day and at my place during the night she would work at my place. She's truly a hardworking girl. Yi Hua responded indifferently. Don't you want to say something? Qing Ye said unhappily. In any case, Qing Ye is still my employee, how can she be standing there feeling wronged? As the boss, you should at least step forward and say a few words. Yi Hua said faintly, if one does something wrong, then there should be a corresponding punishment. Regardless of whether this matter is related to her or not, she is still implicated in this matter. If she were to step forward now, she wouldn't even know where she went wrong. Qing Ye pouted her mouth. I thought that Yi Hua would be so cold-blooded, so this is the case. No, this fellow was indirectly lecturing him. What brother-in-law said is right. Only by recognizing our own mistakes would we be able to be more careful next time. Qing Yutong was standing on brother-in-law's side. Yi Hua expressed that he was very gratified and patted onto Qing Yutong's head. The latter squinted her beautiful eyes, seeming to be enjoying it very much, causing Qing Ye to be angered to the point that she became speechless at the side. The relationship between this man and my little sister is really too intimate. I can't let this go on, if not I will really have to go and send condoms to him. Sure enough, a man in a black suit rushed over and was dumbfounded when he saw the dying crimson dragon on the ground. This was a fish that the boss had specially sent over. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished. Who? The man's eyes revealed out an ominous glint, and a faint killing intent was emitting out from his body. Yihua felt it and was a little surprised. The few movers immediately pointed at the girl. Teng Wei. The man shouted out, and his pair of eyes were filled with murderous intent. That's right, this girl was Teng Wei. Right now she was dumbfounded and her mind was in a daze. Teng Wei, do you know how much this fish is worth? Right now, even if you have money, you won't be able to buy it. It is going to be extinct soon. Teng Wei seemed to be at a loss of what to do. She wanted to explain, but she was panicking to the point that she couldn't speak. At this moment, there was only one person that appeared in her mind, and she felt that only that person would be able to help her. Ignoring the manager's malicious gaze, Teng Wei took out her phone and sent a message. Just that, right after the message was sent out, the manager snatched the phone away and threw it onto the ground fiercely, then used his leather shoes that were made from alligator skin to step on the phone. "Buy phone." Teng Wei choked with sobs. Although this phone only cost about 1,000 RMB, it was still bought with my hard-earned money. Holding onto a pile of phone parts, Teng Wei let out a sobbing sound. This kind of helplessness made one's heart ache. The manager wished that he could slap this brat to death and shouted out angrily, "What are you crying for? How can a lousy phone compare to my fish? Let me tell you, Teng Wei, prepare to work here for the rest of your life." Xianxia couldn't bear to watch anymore and pulled on to Yihua, who was at the side. "It's about time. If you aren't going, I am going." Yihua revealed out a light smile and stood up. "What identity are you going to use? Are you the boss's wife? Go to hell." Xianxia rolled her eyes at Yihua. This fellow is really hateful. However, there was a youngster whose movements were even faster than Yihua's. "Boss, from the looks of it, this fish of yours isn't dead, right?" A youngster who was wearing ordinary clothes walked out, causing Yihua, who was standing up, to sit back down. "Student Qi." Teng Wei looked at the youngster who was walking over and cried out in surprise. Qi Shuwen squatted down and consoled, "Student Teng Wei, are you all right?" Teng Wei's eyes were red and swollen as she shook her head. "Student Qi, quickly leave, this matter isn't related to you." "Student Teng Wei, no matter what, we are still classmates. If I don't help you, who would help you?" Qi Shuwen smiled slightly. This caused Teng Wei to be a bit absent-minded. In her impression, Qi Shuwen was a shy bookworm who rarely interacted with other students in class. But today, Qi Shuwen seemed to have changed into another person. He seemed to be very confident. The manager snorted coldly. "You help? What are you going to use to help?" Qi Shuwen stood up and said faintly, "This fish of yours is completely fine, it just fainted, that's all." "Bullshit, it's not even moving. If you have the ability, then slap it and wake it up. I will let bygones be bygones." The manager shouted in disdain. Qi Shuwen smiled but didn't say anything. With a mysterious confidence, he squatted down beside the blood-red dragon, and stretched out his hand to caress the fish's body. Qi Shuwen was shocked in his heart. As expected of an arowana that is worth 5 million, it actually still has dragon qi. After a while, under everyone's astonished gaze, Qi Shuwen threw the blood-red dragon into the fish tank at the side. The fish that had a face that was about to die just a moment ago could be seen swimming happily in the water. My God, that youngster really cured the fish. Wow, so mystical, it actually cured. Chapter 42. The manager was also dumbfounded. The fish was actually cured. Bullshit. Classmate Qi, thank you. Teng Wei wiped her beautiful eyes and expressed her gratitude to Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen revealed a polite smile. "Teng Wei classmate, please don't take it to heart. Helping others is my motto. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Since Teng Wei has made such a request, I won't refuse." Qi Shuwen smiled modestly. This commoner campus belle seemed to be interested in him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen just by having a meal. Xianxia laughed involuntarily. "Yihua, there is someone who is faster than you and is better at acting cool than you." Yihua remained silent. However, this young man was the second person that he had seen who was capable, and the first person that he had seen was Long Outyan. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared at the entrance of the shop and pushed the door open with an oppressive aura. "Voltang? Uncle Wei, that's right." Teng Wei's message for help was sent to Wei Chong. In Teng Wei's heart, Wei Chong was the man who cared about her. Right now, with a wronged expression, she threw herself into Wei Chang's embrace and cried bitterly. Qi Shuwen was stupefied. What is this situation? Who is this security uncle? Is he Tang Wei's uncle? Seemed like that was the case. His niece was being bullied and as an uncle he had to come and help. Yihua, isn't that your security captain? Wow, brother-in-law, your little brother is so handsome, Uncle Appa, Qin Yutong said exaggeratedly. Yihua didn't expect that Wei Chong would suddenly appear, and the reason why he came was actually because of this girl. This caused Yihua to be very surprised. When did my subordinates become so conscientious? Wei Chong patted the girl in his arms to comfort her. Bultang, tell me who bullied you. Actually, Wei Chonglai's reason was very simple. His little brother was being bullied and as the big brother he should step forward to teach the other party a lesson. This was what he had done in the past. Uncle Wei, it's fine now. Tang Wei blushed a little and broke away from Wei Chang's embrace. Why are you crying for no reason? Wei Chong was in a bad mood. When he saw the phone parts in Tang Wei's hand, his brows immediately wrinkled. Although Tang Wei came to Leisure Bar not long ago, Wei Chong knew that Tang Wei was very thrifty and would walk to work every day. What happened to the phone? Wei Chong asked. Tang Wei felt that she shouldn't trouble Uncle Wei, so she said, I accidentally broke it. I say, what's wrong with a broken security guard like you? Why are you standing up for a beauty? The manager was already very unhappy. When he saw a man in a security uniform shouting in his store, he instantly became angry again. Looking at this scene, Qinya was very worried. Yihua, quickly go over, it seems like they are going to fight. I'm fine. In this world there are very few people who are able to defeat Wei Chong, and the number of people who are able to defeat Wei Chong can be counted with 2 hands. You. Qinya said angrily, then stood up and prepared to go and help Wei Chong. However, right after she stood up she was pulled into Yihua's embrace. Just watch. Ayaya, I can't stand you two anymore showing off your affection in public. Qin Yutong covered her eyes and teased. With a red face, Qinya struggled a few times. This scoundrel, he still said that he wouldn't touch the same woman a second time. What nonsense, look at how many times he has already taken advantage of me. The main reason was still because of the child, causing the two of them who were from different worlds to be together miraculously. Without the child, Yihua wouldn't even care about Qinya, and Qinya wouldn't even turn around to look for Yihua. However, fate is always so mysterious. This was also the reason why Yihua didn't try to control it, because it would always bring him a surprise. Just that, right now he was a bit annoyed by this kind of surprise because this woman was slowly changing him. Just like that weak little human who dared to speak arrogantly to me just now. If it was a few months ago, he wouldn't even be able to see tomorrow's sun. Of course, I wouldn't make a move on him, but right now I don't even want to care about him. Could it really be like what Wei Chong said, that this is human's love? Yihua wasn't very sure and needed to investigate further. It has only been a few days. I am a supreme overlord and she is just an ordinary human. Although she is considered to be outstanding among humans, she is still not qualified to be a match for me. It should be because of the child. It should be like this. Yihua, who was hugging onto Qinya, silently thought. Although he was thinking, his hands were still caressing onto Qinya's abdomen, causing Qinya's face to turn completely red. Qin Yutong couldn't stand it anymore. Even if the two of you want to look for trouble, can you go to the toilet? It's fine if this manager doesn't respect me, but what right does he have to insult Uncle Wei? Manager, what right do you have to insult people? So what if I am a security guard? At least I am stronger than you who is dressed in a suit. Tang Wei changed from her weak attitude just now and actually argued with the fierce manager in front of her. The manager snorted in disdain. A lousy security guard and a poor woman, both of you scram, don't affect my business. At this moment the surrounding customers were a bit displeased. This was a very unique restaurant. After all, the food that was cooked was quite delicious, but right now they felt that this kind of good restaurant was ruined by this manager. Sigh, I won't be coming next time. I didn't expect that this kind of person would be able to become a manager and ruin the reputation of this restaurant. That's right, when he is insulting others, he is also insulting himself. Looking down on others. When the manager heard the discussions in the surrounding, he was angered to the point that his face turned red and he couldn't say anything. The anger in his stomach could only be vented on the two people in front of him, It is all because of them. Wei Chang, this man wanted to beat Tang Wei up. Xiao Tang, stand there and don't move. Uncle Wei. Tang Wei shouted out worriedly. She was worried that Uncle Wei would be beaten up by the manager. After all, this manager looked very strong. Even his suit was bulging out from his muscles. The amount of human blood that Wei Chang's hands had been dyed with was already uncountable. Following Yi Hua to battle all over the world, Wei Chang had repeatedly set glorious records, and of course the record of eating humans was a record. There was once when Wei Chang devoured all of the humans in 1,000,000 city, and the other members of the 7 deadly sins were all stupefied when they saw that. In terms of quantity among the 7 deadly sins, Wei Chang was the most ruthless. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? Wei Chang was being stubborn again. Yi Hua shook his head. It's still the same as before. I broke your MP. The manager was unable to bear it any longer. He raised his fist and punched towards Wei Chang's forehead. Qi Shuwen, who was at the side, was prepared to help. After all, Wei Chang was Tang Wei's uncle. If I help him, it would also be considered as me helping Tang Wei. But before the fist even arrived, the manager's face was already slapped. The strength of this slap was just right. It won't send the manager's head flying, and it won't knock him down either. It will only make him feel humiliated. Yi Hua went into a daze. This move of Wei Chang's is not bad. The control of strength is just right, not bad. You dare to hit me? Do you know who I am? Pa. The other side of the manager received another slap, and his face was filled with disbelief. I was actually slapped by a security guard. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? None of your business. Pa. Chapter 43. Pa. Try hitting me again. Do you know who is my backer? Pa. My backer can poke you to death with just a finger. Pa. My backer. Pa. Pie backer. Pa. It was smashed by me. The manager was actually beaten to tears by Wei Chang. This is what it means to be arrogant. No matter how powerful your backer is, I will still slap your face. Other than Yi Hua, everyone else was stupefied. This security guard had simply refreshed their worldview. Although it was very satisfying, but he was still too impulsive. Now that he is satisfied, has he ever thought of the consequences? Qi Shuwen was also very surprised. This uncle of Tang Wei is not simple. The speed at which he hits people is extremely fast, almost catching up to my hand speed. Seems like he is a martial artist. And right now, Tang Wei's heart was intoxicated. Uncle Wei actually took the risk to help me vent my anger. I am really too touched. When the other party said that I have a powerful backer, Uncle Wei was still not afraid. This is what a real man is. Yi Hua, this employee of yours is too ruthless. Qin Yutong finished her big sister's words. Yi Hua said faintly, you all have never seen the more ruthless side of him. Right now he is just messing around. Brother-in-law, can I trouble you to get rid of this bad habit of acting cool? Qin Yutong poked her brother-in-law and said while beaming. In actuality, I just like to see brother-in-law silently acting cool. It is too interesting. Qingya was currently still sitting in Yi Hua's embrace and said calmly, your brother-in-law also suffers from acting cool after smoking syndrome. Every time he finishes smoking, he would have to act cool for a bit. Brother-in-law actually has this kind of syndrome. Can it be cured? Qingya pouted her mouth. From what I see, this is a terminal illness. There is no cure. Pa. A slap firmly smacked onto Qingya's perky butt, and the latter was smacked silly. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise. Big sister, seeing this scene, I suddenly recalled the scene when you were spanked by your father when you were young. Ha ha. Yi Hua suddenly laughed out loud. This kind of laughter seemed to have a demonic nature, causing everyone to look towards his direction. Qingya wished that she could seal her little sister's mouth, immediately left Yi Hua's embrace and sat at the side to calm down. This time Qin Yutong was really stupefied. What did I say just now to actually make my cold and aloof brother-in-law let out such a laugh, and big sister who was bashful and angry? What is going on? When Wei Chang saw Yi Hua who was laughing loudly, his heart sunk. I wonder if his honor is satisfied with my performance just now? No way. He had to show off a little more and show that he had brains. When Tang Wei saw the boss and the lady boss. I can't even tell which one is the lady boss. It can't be that both of them are the lady boss, right? However, this doesn't matter. Having Uncle Wei is enough. The way I feel towards the boss is just like having a small fan. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chong was very alert now, like a primary school student taking an exam. Tang Wei seemed to not want to cause trouble for Wei Chong and said, "Uncle Wei, forget it, it's not worth much money." But Wei Chong gave the manager another slap and the latter said aggrievedly, "I didn't say anything just now." "Your eyes are speaking," Wei Chong said coldly. "I feel that what I did just now would be able to satisfy his honor. After all, I am able to discern people's thoughts from their body language." The manager really wanted to die, but he didn't have time to think and immediately closed his eyes. "Now you don't have an excuse to beat me." But the manager was in despair. "Why?" Wei Chong said gravely, "you had body language just now." After finished speaking, the manager immediately sneaked a peek at his honor. "Being able to understand other people's body language, I should be able to add some points, right?" The manager swore that I definitely didn't move just now, this damn security guard was just finding an excuse to beat me up. But drops of tears slid down the firm face of the manager. The manager held onto his face and said while choking with sobs, "I closed my eyes just now and I didn't move at all. Why did you? You were speaking in your heart." Wei Chong felt that he had passed the test, being able to understand other people's minds. Xianxia and Qin Yutong were about to cramp up from laughing. "This handsome uncle is too funny. You have already beaten others to the point of despair, and there is no other reason for you to beat others up." A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. Wei Chang's performance today is not bad. Being able to understand how humans think from all aspects can be counted as a small improvement. "Xiaotang, how much is the phone?" Wei Chong turned around and asked lightly. Tang Wei was currently in a drunken state. Uncle Wei was very cold when he was beating me up, but he was still so gentle towards me. Is Wei Chang's expression a gentle one? It doesn't seem like it, right? No matter what, in Tang Wei's eyes, Wei Chong looked like this. 1888. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chong nodded his head. "Compensate me." "Big brother, you should have said it earlier, isn't it just money?" "If you had said it earlier, I would have compensated you. How big of a matter is this?" "What's the matter? Why are you making such a ruckus? Don't you know that I am receiving a distinguished guest?" A middle-aged man could be seen walking down slowly, and behind him was a young man and a young woman. The man was handsome, wore a custom-made white suit, and the watch on his wrist should be an Abbey Millennium Series watch. The watch was made of 18K rose gold and it gave off a strong sense of heroism. The price of the watch was a terrifying 8 digits. The woman was incomparably beautiful. She had a devilish figure, her exquisite face was filled with the colors of an oriental woman, and her expression was indeed very gentle. The dress that she was wearing was very unique, and from the looks of it, it was also custom-made. On her spotlessly white wrist, there was also a rose gold watch. It should be a couple's watch. Seeing that his savior had arrived, the manager did not care about the risk and rushed in front of Jiu Yi, hugged onto Jiu Ye's leg, pointed at Wei Chong and said while kneeling, "Jiu Yi, he hit me." Jiu Ye's face immediately darkened by half. This shop was opened in partnership with a very mysterious person. It's just that the other person was low profile and did not like to open a big shop. That was why he opened the shop on such a scale. If he was the one who opened the shop, it would definitely be a high-end shop. But his own man was actually beaten into a pig's head, and most importantly, he even ran to his parents like a child to complain. His face was completely lost. "You can scram now," Jiu Yi said in a deep voice. "This kind of person is completely useless, he doesn't even have the courage to fight back." The manager looked at Jiu Yi with teary eyes. "Why did it become like this? Is it wrong for me to be unable to win? Is it wrong for me to bring out my backer? Is it wrong for me to ask for help when I am unable to win? Why are all of you like this? I don't want to play anymore." "Jiu Yi, your man is very interesting," the young man at the back said with a slight smile. Jiu Yi sighed. "Young Master Xiao, Madam Xiao, I have let the two of you witness a joke." Nangong Sini smiled sweetly and did not say anything. Every single movement of hers revealed the demeanor of a big shot. Looking at the person who came down, Xianxia was slightly surprised. Yi Hua sensed it. "What's the matter?" Yi Hua looked over. "This man's looks are not bad and the woman is also not bad. However, compared to my woman, they are far from being comparable. Do you know where the difference is? Because Xianxia is my woman, she is born to be above everything else." Chapter 44. Qing Yutong ate the fresh and tender fish meat and said curiously, "Big sister, this can't be your ex-boyfriend, right?" Upon hearing what Xianxia said, Yi Hua's face immediately darkened. While waiting for Xianxia to give an explanation, "I don't mind making this ex-boyfriend of mine bleed on the spot." "Yi Hua, don't listen to Yutong's nonsense," Xianxia hurriedly explained. However, after she finished speaking, she immediately scolded herself in her heart. Why did I have to explain to him, and even so quickly? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. From the looks of it, big sister is indeed interested in brother-in-law. Tell me what happened. That's right. Sis, don't keep us in suspense. Xianxia let out a sigh of relief, then looked at the man and woman who were not far away and said, "This man is called Xiao Yi, a member of Zijin City's Xiao family. To be precise, he is an illegitimate child. I heard that he was chased out of Xiao family back then, but a few years ago he suddenly rose to power, and even married Nangong family's big miss and established Dragon God Corporation. He is Xiaoyi. I have also heard about it. I heard that he has a lot of wives." Qing Yutong added. "Many wives? How could such a man have so many wives? Even I, the supreme overlord, only have one wife. What right do you have to have a lot of wives?" He glanced at his sister-in-law. She was pleasing to the eye. "Brother-in-law, what kind of look is that? I am a woman from a good family." Qing Yutong came over and covered her chest with both of her hands, just like a girl who was being molested. Xianxia couldn't be bothered to say anything to Yi Hua. My younger sister just likes to mess around, and she completely didn't know that this time, Yi Hua indeed had such thoughts. "Sister, why aren't you saying anything? Brother-in-law has taken a fancy to his sister-in-law. Don't you care about it? Alright then, I don't need you to give me condoms anymore. I want to have a baby with brother-in-law." Seeing that his big sister did not have any reaction at all, he immediately hugged onto Yi Hua's arm. Xianxia couldn't help but want to take off her shoes and cover herself up. Yi Hua expressed that his sister-in-law's development is not bad, and she is a bit stronger than Xianxia. Now Lord Zhu was very curious. Who dared to cause trouble in his territory? Didn't they know how the word death was written? When he saw that familiar blue uniform and that face, Lord Zhu was stunned. Looking at Jiu Yi, who was walking over, Tang Wei was very afraid as she grabbed onto Wei Chang's sleeves. "Back then, I heard from my colleague that this Jiu Yi is someone who can cover the sky with one hand in Long'an City and is extremely arrogant, but I never expected that this shop was actually this Jiu Yi's shop." He had caused Uncle Wei to suffer miserably. "I heard that only the boss is able to suppress Jiu Yi, but why isn't the boss stepping forward?" Wei Chang looked coldly at the three people walking towards him without a trace of fear. When Xiao Yi saw Wei Chang, he recalled his past experiences and revealed a smile. Nangong Sini seemed to know what her man was smiling about. She poked Xiao Yi's waist and the latter hugged his wife's waist. Qing Yutong clicked her tongue a few times. F***K, why are you people so shameless, showing off your love no matter where you go? Go and find one then. Xianxia said tenderly. Qing Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes. "I want brother-in-law, big sister, give me half. Take it. I'll give them all to you." "Really?" Xianxia fiercely rolled her eyes at her little sister. "Can't you be a bit more mature? You are already a movie queen, yet you are still acting like a child." Looking at Wei Chang in front of him, Lord Zhu didn't know how to address him. He was the subordinate of that strange boss. Could it be that he should call him big brother? But he felt so embarrassed. So it's you. I still haven't properly thanked you for the matter last time." Lord Zhu straightforwardly retreated in order to advance. Last time it was indeed Wei Chang who let Yi Hua in. What he said was not false. Wei Chang slightly frowned. "It's you." Everyone present was stupefied. This security guard actually came into contact with Lord Zhu. What's going on? And looking at Lord Zhu's posture, it seems like he has the intention to curry favor with him. Lord Zhu's actions caused even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who were behind him, to be slightly startled. This Lord Zhu is indeed outstanding in Long'an City. Since I came to invest in Long'an City, I naturally have to come and meet this local tyrant. However, this kind of person is actually afraid of a security guard. Xiao Yi thought of himself. "I want to see if you are really like me or if you are pretending." Xiao Yi's gaze became serious and immediately looked towards Wei Chang. However, the result was disappointing. Wei Chang was just a normal person. Yi Hua and Wei Chang both felt it. "I didn't expect this man to be a bit interesting. There is actually a familiar smell coming from his body. In such a small shop, two people appeared at the same time. Yi Hua felt that he did not come out for nothing this time. This man can be considered to be of high grade, it's just that the smell coming from his body made me feel disgusted. You came at the right time, compensate me. Wei Chong said indifferently, not having the slightest bit of intention to give face to Lord Jiu. Lord Jiu was very embarrassed. Even if I have to offend the two people behind me, I don't dare to offend this person. Lord Jiu laughed lightly and said, everyone, my shop has some matters to take care of. Today's fees will be completely waived. Since Lord Jiu had already spoken till this point, the people that were still sitting felt embarrassed to sit down and watch the show. After all, they still had to give face to Lord Jiu. Not long later, everyone left, even Qi Shuwen left. Right now, I don't want to go and provoke this kind of big shot, so I obediently went to the sea to eat shrimps. Miss, my shop has some private matters to take care of. A waiter came to Yi Hua's table and said politely. Waiving the fees for this table was very painful. After we finish eating, we will naturally leave. Xianxia said indifferently, I really don't understand why Yi Hua's employees are so arrogant. Qin Yutong was very unhappy. The show had just started. How can I leave just like that? Don't worry, I won't forget about your money. My brother-in-law has plenty of it. The waiter was a little displeased. I already waived such an expensive fee, yet you still don't want to leave. However, it wasn't good for me to say anything, so I can only go and report to the waiter. Director Gong, the customer at that table, is not willing to leave. The waiter came in front of Jiu Yi and said respectfully. Jiu Yi was currently in a fit of anger. Right now, whoever dares to provoke me will be the one to be unlucky. Every Tom, Dick and Harry are coming to annoy me. Do they really think that I am that easy to provoke? Turning his head and looking towards a table at the corner, Jiu Ye's chin almost dropped to the ground. My God, I didn't check the almanac when I went out today. The real big boss is actually sitting there and watching the show. If I had shouted out just now, just imagine how serious the consequences would be. When Jiu Yi saw the woman beside the big boss, he couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he didn't even want the woman that was delivered to his doorstep. Where else can I find this kind of woman? Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini also saw Yi Hua's table and went into a slight daze. They felt that these three people were a bit interesting. Jiu Yi swallowed his saliva, then walked over with a respectful expression and shouted towards Yi Hua, boss. This word boss was clearly heard by everyone present. Other than Wei Chong, who was not surprised, everyone else was stupefied, even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini. The two of them were guessing in their hearts, could it be that the boss behind this Jiu Yi is him? Looking at Jiu Ye's respectful expression, it seems like it is indeed so. Chapter 45. But this middle-aged man in front of him actually called Yi Hua boss with a respectful attitude. He couldn't have recognized the wrong person, right? Right now, Qin Yutong was not fooling around. She was sitting upright at the side, appearing to be very cold and elegant. Adding on the black dress that she was wearing, she was simply extremely sexy. The acting skills of a movie empress was not just for show. Towards this brother-in-law, Qin Yutong was only curious as to why Big Sister would have a child with him, and wanted to dig out this gossip. Just that, the surprises that brother-in-law brought wave after wave, are really too interesting. Could it be that brother-in-law is a big shot of some organization and he is hiding in this flower city, and then, on a beautiful night, he came to save the beauty and Big Sister was taken care of? The plot should be like this. It must be said that the reasoning ability of the movie queen was too strong. The first half of the story was actually guessed correctly, but the second half was completely wrong. It was her big sister who delivered herself to his door. Xiaojiu, this restaurant of yours is a bit expensive. Yi Hua said lightly. Calling him Xiaojiu was giving him face. If he didn't give him face, he would directly tell him to scram. Jiu Ye's expression changed and he hurriedly said, My subordinates are not sensible. They didn't know that the boss came to eat. I immediately criticized them. It wasn't easy for me to come out to eat, but my mood was completely ruined. Yi Hua picked up a napkin and lightly wiped the corner of his mouth. That indifferent gaze of his, and every movement he made emitted out a faint aura of a superior. At this moment, Wei Chong couldn't pretend that he didn't see anything, and hurriedly walked forward and shouted, Boss. Tang Wei also followed behind and shouted, Boss. Yi Hua placed the napkin on the table. Xiaojiu, my employee's phone is broken. Don't worry, boss, I will compensate. Looking at Tang Wei who was standing behind Wei Chong, Yi Hua said indifferently, "That manager just now was chased away by you, right?" A drop of cold sweat appeared on Jiu Ye's forehead. This boss obviously has a hidden meaning in his words. Why did he bring up that idiot for no reason? There must definitely be a reason. I have to properly figure out the boss's meaning. If I say it correctly, it will naturally be good, but if I say it wrongly, it will be hard to hug onto this thigh. After remaining silent for 3 seconds, Jiu Yi immediately understood Yi Hua's meaning. I also only found out today. I didn't expect that the manager's attitude would be so bad. Xiao Tang, this girl is not bad, she is calm and collected. I definitely think that she can become the manager. As expected of the experienced Jiu Yi, it only took him 3 seconds to understand Yi Hua's meaning. This also meant that the title of Jiu Yi was not for nothing. Tang Wei had a bit of the intention to refuse. After all, being promoted in such a short period of time feels so unreal. Wei Chong was startled. His honor is already standing up for you. If you are to reject him, wouldn't that be bad? Lil Tang, hurry up and thank him. Wei Chong hurriedly urged. Right now, Tang Wei only trusted Wei Chong. She could only nod her head and say, "Thank you, Director Gong." "You are wrong to thank me," Wei Chong reminded again. "Xiao Tang's brain is even worse than mine." Tang Wei cried out in surprise and was a bit flustered. Only after a while did she understand what was going on and said to Yi Hua, "Thank you, boss." Yi Hua said faintly, "Thank him, there is no need to thank me." Tang Wei immediately felt embarrassed. Wei Chong was also having a headache. Could it be that my judgment is wrong again? All right, the other person has already thanked you, yet you are still putting on a stern face. Xianxia said in a low voice. I obviously wanted to help the other person, yet I am still acting as if it wasn't my original intention. Yi Hua glared at Xianxia. A boss should act like a boss. Don't tell me that I still have to be so mischievous with my subordinates. I have to properly teach Xianxia about this. A small matter, a small matter. Jiu Yi smiled apologetically. Yi Hua was rather satisfied with this Jiu Yi. His brain works fast enough. He stood up and said, "After eating, let's go home." "Boss, madams, I will go and prepare the car right now." "Madams?" Xianxia's face immediately darkened and Qin Yutong's face immediately reddened. Yi Hua was very calm. My sister-in-law is still under my investigation. Whether or not she is able to become the second madam will depend on her luck. This scoundrel is actually not explaining. He has ulterior motives. Brother-in-law is actually not explaining. Big sister is also not speaking. Could it be that they are planning to, also perverted? Piao Qing, long time no see. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who had been observing from the side, walked over. And the one who spoke was Nangong Sini, who had a slight smile on her face. Yi Hua took a glance at her. This woman's temperament is not bad and her overall appearance is not bad. It is a pity that she is not clean. Xianxia seemed to be searching for her memories in her mind. I don't seem to have any dealings with her, but since the other party has already greeted me politely, I can't be like Yi Hua and ignore her. Madam Xiao, hello. Xianxia clenched her small fists. Right now I really want to strangle my little sister to death. She is actually impersonating me. That's right. Qin Yutong was even faster than Xianxia. She immediately stood up and shook hands with Nangong Sini. This kind of action made even Yi Hua reveal out a trace of a smile. This sister-in-law really knows how to cause trouble. Look at Xianxia's expression, she is almost unable to hold it in anymore. Xiu Xiao, you are still so handsome, Qin Yutong said with a slight smile. She who mingled in the entertainment circle was very good at speaking. Even if she did not know someone, she would still be able to pretend that she knew someone. Just that Qin Yutong's words made Yi Hua unhappy. As my sister-in-law, there is no need for you to please others. It is fine for you to just wait for others to compliment you. Xiao Yi was also incomparably surprised towards this pair of sisters. The luck of the man in the middle is even better than mine. I am really envious. Xiao Qing is still so beautiful. This is? Xiao Yi asked with a smile. He was very curious about the identity of this man. Although Jiu Yi said that this man was the madam's just now, Xiao Yi still didn't quite believe it. He is my husband, Yi Hua, Qin Yutong said magnanimously. Right now I am disguised as my big sister, so brother-in-law is naturally my husband. That's right. Xianxia couldn't hold it in anymore and with an apologetic smile she stood up. Xiao Xiao, Madam Xiao, my little sister likes to mess around, please don't mind her. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini were a bit puzzled. Just what is the relationship between these three people? Qing Yutong laughed tenderly. Sorry, my big sister is jealous. In actuality, he is my brother-in-law. If you continue to mess around, then go back. Qing Ye snorted coldly. This little sister of mine is getting more and more out of control. Qing Yutong's little face collapsed, then pulled onto Yi Hua, who was at the side, and said pitifully, brother-in-law, big sister is scolding me. Qing Ye, enough, Yutong is still a child. Yi Hua patted onto Qing Yutong, who had a dumbfounded face, and said calmly. 10,000 monkeys floated around in Qing Yutong's mind. You are the child. Have you ever seen a child with such a good figure? Right now, Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini still hadn't thought of Qing Yutong, the big celebrity, and only felt that these three people were a bit weird. Chapter 46. Xiao Qing, when did you get married? You didn't even inform big sister? Nangong Sini faintly smiled. He actually called big sister. Seems like she wants to get closer to her. To Nangong Sini, this was definitely an action that was giving face to Nangong Sini. However, Qing Ye had an indescribable feeling as if she was at a disadvantage. Why do I have to call you big sister? What does this have to do with you? Yi Hua really wanted to chase the two of them away, but he felt that it would be meaningless if he did that. He really wanted to see how Qing Ye was going to deal with this matter. After being together with me for a few days, it is time for me to change. This woman still dared to call herself sister? Did she eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? If it was 1 month ago, Qing Ye would definitely grab onto this kind of opportunity. However, right now she didn't have the slightest bit of such a thought. Looking at Yi Hua, could it be that I have been brainwashed? Madam Xiao, Yi Hua and I have not had a banquet yet. Qing Ye gave out a courteous smile. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini slightly wrinkled their brows. This Qing Ye doesn't seem to be giving face at all. She is a woman with character. The two of them seem to be used to it. This kind of woman was just like that. It seemed like she used this kind of method to attract their attention. Xiao Qing, tomorrow night I will be holding a banquet. I hope you can give me some face. Nangong Sini changed from her previous gentle tone and invited with a businesslike tone. Qing Ye nodded her head and did not refuse. All right. Sini, let's go. It's too stuffy here. Xiao Yi said indifferently. Nangong Sini said in a tender voice, Xiao Qing will be leaving first. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. The two of them sat in the Rolls-Royce parked outside. Xiao Yi hugged his wife and unhappily asked, why did you invite such a disrespectful woman? Nangong Xen said gently, it is precisely because she did not give you face that you invited her. Although it is only a small banquet, the people who came are all trying to curry favor with you. Xiao Yi laughed and lifted his wife's chin. It seems that you are more stingy than me. Only now do you realize how rare it is for me to be alone with you. You have to do your best tonight. I guarantee that I will complete the daily missions and make you wish you were dead. In the dining hall, Qing Yutong burped very unladylike. Big sister, the famous madam of Xiao family wants to address you as a sister, and you really don't give her any face. Yi Hua stood up and said faintly, there is no need to give face to others. Qing Ye did very well. Yutong, you should learn from your big sister. Qing Ye laughed complacently, then immediately became clear-headed. What am I laughing for? It seems like I am a little wife that is being praised. This scoundrel is making fun of me again. Your Honor, do you want subordinate to go and deal with those two people from just now? Wei Chong sent out a private message. People like them who are disrespectful to His Honor should live in hell. Wei Chong, I originally wanted to praise you. Don't always think about fighting and killing. You have to be more humane. A salted fish will forever be a salted fish. Even if you turn over a new leaf, you will still be a salted fish. Do you understand? This subordinate is ignorant. Looks like I shouldn't have asked you to deal with the assassin group. Use this time to reflect on human nature. Your Honor is wise. We are far inferior to you. You go back first. Yes. After the two of them finished their private conversation, Wei Chong respectfully said, Boss, I'll leave first. Yi Hua grunted faintly. Tang Wei seemed to have something to say, but in the end she mustered up her courage and said, Boss, I think it is better to let someone else be the manager. Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. Wei Chong thought to himself, this is bad. Xiao Tang, don't anger His Honor anymore. There is still one more month before school starts. I was thinking about it just now. I still have to focus on my studies during the day and work at night. Up to you. Yi Hua said lightly, stopping Jiu Yi from sending them off. Then he brought along his wife and sister-in-law and walked out of Xianxia. This meal is still free. Counting the money, I can buy a lot of crayfish with the money. When Jiu Yi saw those big shots leaving, he let out a sigh of relief. I better not bump into this boss again in the future. Uncle Wei, wait for me for a moment. I will go and change my clothes. Tang Wei revealed out a cute smile, just like a little bird that had just obtained its freedom. Wei Chong nodded his head, and not long later Tang Wei walked over. In actuality, Tang Wei's appearance was really not bad. She was a standard classical beauty, with a spotlessly white and flawless oval face. Coupled with that tall and slender figure, no matter where she went, she would be a beautiful scenery. As expected of the school belle, it was also Yi Hua's fault for setting his sights too high. The white dress that Tang Wei was wearing added a hint of fairy-like feeling to her. However, Wei Chong did not have any reaction at all. It can't be helped. Who asked me to not be interested in women, only interested in eating humans? If it was Lai Gu who tried it, he would definitely be able to make a deal that was worth hundreds of billions. Uncle Wei, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me treat you to a meal. Tang Wei held onto her cheap handbag and said with a smile. Wei Chong said, no need, Xiao Tang. I had just bought some groceries and was preparing to cook for myself. Really? Uncle Wei, I am not bragging, but the food that I cook is very delicious. Is that so? Wei Chong asked puzzledly. Tang Wei nodded her head with a smile. Of course, I will cook for you and you will know after you eat. Alright then, thank you, Xiao Tang. Wei Chong smiled. In actuality, he did not have any other meaning, but Tang Wei seemed to be very shy and decided to properly understand Uncle Wei. When they arrived at Wei Chang's rented house, Tang Wei discovered that Uncle Wei was actually living alone, and the house was very clean. Once again, Tang Wei expressed her admiration towards Wei Chong and decided that in the future, she would come and cook for Uncle Wei. Wei Chong was completely unaware that he was being pestered by a little beauty, but it must be said that Tang Wei's guts was still rather big, to even dare to get close to Wei Chong. One must know that out of the 7 sins, other than Lai Gu, the other 5 chose to avoid Wei Chong. Because Wei Chong was a one-track-minded person, it was very hard to communicate with him. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Xianxia walked to the bedroom and took a nap. Yi Hua did not disturb Xianxia and went to the office to watch cartoons. Human nature was still very important. After Qing Yutong washed her makeup, she was cleaning the storage room. After all, there was still one more month before she could move out, and she wanted her own personal space. After she finished cleaning the storage room with great difficulty, Qing Yutong wiped off the sweat on her forehead and muttered, "This brother-in-law, he really doesn't know how to love his sister-in-law, not even coming to help." Pushing open the door of the office, a voice immediately rang out from inside the office, causing Qing Yutong to go into a daze. As I wish, Qing Yutong stared blankly at the Calabash brothers on the television, then looked at her brother-in-law who had a serious look on his face. Her worldview was completely destroyed. Such a grown man, and yet he is still watching cartoons. Brother-in-law, Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly. If it was someone else, Yi Hua would have mercilessly given that person a slap. But unfortunately that person was his sister-in-law. Yi Hua replied faintly. Qing Yutong sat beside Yi Hua, then picked up the remote control and directly changed the show. Brother-in-law, why are you still so childish? Let me introduce a better show to you. I watch it every day. Yi Hua resisted the urge to slap his sister-in-law, to actually change the show without my permission. Even Xianxia wouldn't dare to do this. Here, look at this, it's super good. After choosing the show, Qing Yutong crossed her long and beautiful legs and had a face full of expectation. Chapter 47. A few black lines immediately appeared on Yi Hua's forehead. Watching Calabash Brothers saving Grandpa is nurturing one's humanity, but what do you mean by this joyful expression? Is it nurturing one's childhood? Brother-in-law, I will pause for a bit to go and get some snacks. Wait for me, don't watch it yourself. After speaking, Qing Yutong wore her cute slippers, slipped downstairs and carried a big pile of snacks up. Brother-in-law, do you want to eat some potato chips? No. Brother-in-law, do you want to order McDonald's? No. Do you want to drink fragrant milk tea? Not drinking. Do you want to eat one spicy stick? You dare to eat my spicy stick? Yihua said gravely. Qin Yutong's face tensed up. Eat a bit of numbness. Give it to me. Brother-in-law. Don't snatch my spicy stick, I will give it to you. Ayaya, brother-in-law, how can you be like this? Return it to me. Xianxia, who was in her sleep, heard a slight noise and immediately woke up. Yawning, she wore her pajamas and walked out of the bedroom. Pushing open the office door, she was stupefied by the scene in front of her. What are you two doing? Xianxia shouted angrily. Qin Yutong could be seen pressing down on Yihua, and Yihua had stretched out the spicy stick in his hand far away, making Qin Yutong unable to snatch it. Big sister, look at brother-in-law, he snatched my spicy stick. Qin Yutong said angrily, pouting her mouth as she accused brother-in-law of his evil deeds. Xianxia looked at the spicy stick in Yihua's hand and immediately let out a sigh of relief. However, she still shouted out, how old are the two of you? Look at joyful expression and still snatch the spicy stick. Yihua, you are going to be a father. Qin Yutong, you are going to be an aunt. Are you going to snatch the milk bottle from the child? Yihua sat up and continued to look at joyful expression. From time to time he would eat a spicy stick, completely ignoring Xianxia's education, feeling that this joyful expression could also nurture one's humanity. Brother-in-law, give me one. Go downstairs and get it yourself. There's no more, this is the last pack. Go buy it yourself. Brother-in-law. Xianxia held onto her forehead and felt that her blood pressure was rising a bit. Originally it was fine if there was only Yihua, this weirdo, but now there is another one. My heart is so tired. Suddenly, a scene appeared in Yihua's mind. My own child was fighting with them to watch cartoons, but in the end he wasn't able to win against them and ended up crying and throwing a tantrum. Then he tried to fight with them over spicy gluten, but he wasn't able to win against them. My God, I really want to die. Unable to contain her anger, Xianxia directly unplugged the power supply and stood in front of her husband and sister with a cold expression. Xianxia, what are you doing? Sis, I'm enjoying myself. Xianxia said coldly, we need to have a good talk. Big sister, what is there to talk about? Quickly turn on the TV. Qin Yutong urged. Qin Yutong, what exactly do you want to do now? In the past, when you were filming, you would not return home all year round, and now that you say that you are not going to do it, what are you going to do about your compensation for breach of contract? Qin Yutong spread out her hands indifferently. I have already paid the penalty fee. Other than that Ferrari, right now I don't even have the money to refuel my car. Then what are you planning to do? Eat and wait for death? Big sister, don't say it like that, I am a woman with a plan. Qin Yutong said mysteriously, seemingly like she was going to do something big, and this made Xianxia's anger calm down a bit. What have you decided to do? Qin Yutong stood up, slightly raised her chin to a 45 degrees angle, then said in a deep voice, I have decided to become a female anchor. Female anchor? Xianxia went into a daze for a moment, then continued, you, a person who graduated from acting, want to become a female anchor? Did Dad find some connections for you? Big sister, I am not talking about that female anchor, I am talking about live broadcast on the platform, the kind that can be watched on the computer. Xianxia went into a daze and soon after her face began to twitch. It was obvious that she was extremely angry. Qin Yutong thought to herself, this is the prelude to a fight, and immediately hid behind Yihua. You quit when your career is at its peak. You don't even want to be a movie queen and actually went to become a female anchor. I'm going to teach you a lesson on behalf of Dad today. Xianxia was angered by her sister. Back then she went to become a celebrity no matter what, and now that her career is at its peak she quit. She actually went to become a female anchor, my God. Is there something wrong with her brain? Looking around the surroundings, Xianxia picked up the broom that was at the corner and chased after her sister. There definitely is a deep hatred between the two of them. Brother-in-law, why aren't you controlling your wife? It hurts, it hurts. The two women immediately chased after each other in the office. It was very lively. Yihua stretched out his hand and carried Xianxia into his embrace, and the latter said unhappily, let go of me, I am definitely going to beat her to death today. Tisk, seeing that her big sister was being carried, Qin Yutong made a face and provoked. All right, be careful not to hurt the fetus. Yihua said tenderly. Xianxia was so angry she helplessly threw away the broom in her hand, then turned her head and looked towards her man. Look at what she has become. Since young she has been acting according to her temper. Sooner or later, something bad will happen. There is nothing wrong with being an anchor. Every profession has its own master. It is fine as long as you are happy. Yi Hua felt that it was very miraculous that he was actually able to say such a reasonable sentence. Qing Yutong was very happy. That's right, what brother-in-law said is right. Every profession has its own master. Big sister, you actually look down on an anchor. I despise you. Yutong, you should also speak less. Your big sister is pregnant. Yi Hua warned, and as expected it was very effective. The two sisters did not say anything anymore. After a long while, Qing Yutong said calmly, I also want to accompany my parents more. These few years I have been busy with filming and almost forgot that I have a home. It is fine for me to just stay at home as an anchor. Qingya went into a daze. I didn't expect that my little sister would have such thoughts. Seems like I misunderstood her. Just that, Qingya neglected one thing. Qing Yutong was a movie empress level person who knows how many times she had acted out this kind of tragic drama. Then tomorrow you can go back to Zijin City to accompany your parents. Or go back to Long'an City to accompany your grandparents. Qingya said faintly. Qing Yutong immediately came in front of Qingya and held onto her big sister's delicate hand. How can I do that? Big sister, you are pregnant now. Brother-in-law is a man. He will definitely not take good care of you. It is fine as long as your little sister is here. When my little nephew is born, I still want to bring him to go to the disco. If I say that I am not moved, I would be lying. It is still good that my little sister has this kind of thinking. Then how do you plan to become an anchor? Qingya said calmly, seeming to have already given her approval, causing Qing Yutong to be overjoyed. As long as I can get past Big Sister, there won't be any problems. Back then it was also because Big Sister supported me that I went to film. If not, I would also be like Big Sister right now, being a businesswoman. Qing Yutong said obediently, I plan to find a better platform to livestream. This way I will be able to earn money, and then buy a lot of good food and fun things for my little nephew, and bring him to chase after Big Sister's Be more serious. Qingya wrinkled her brows. I cannot let my own child be led astray by my little sister. Chapter 48. Alright, I'll be serious. Qing Yutong was extremely obedient. Qingya thought for a while, then came to a decision. I will open a company and you will be broadcasting. Big sister, it can't be. You even want to earn your little sister's money. Qing Yutong immediately knew her big sister's intention. A businesswoman is indeed a businesswoman. Do you eat and drink at my place for free? I also eat my brother-in-law's money. Qing Yutong retorted. Isn't your brother-in-law's money still mine? Yihua liked this sentence a lot. Not bad. Qing Yutong puffed up her cheeks. This is the behavior of a thief. I won't do it. It's fine if you don't want to do it. Accompany mom and dad, then you can broadcast however you want. Big sister, look at what you are saying. It's the same if other people earn it. I might as well give it to big sister, right? Qing Yutong immediately cowered. Qingya said petulantly, the money earned will be split 9-10. Big sister, this isn't good, just split it 50. 50 will do, we are sisters. Qingya flicked her hair. Yutong, I'll split 9-10, you split 10. Yihua laughed. I didn't expect that Qingya, who was in his embrace, would have such a side. Qing Yutong looked at her big sister dumbfoundedly, and after a long while she said, I thought that I have a big sister who loves me and a brother-in-law who loves me, who knew that they colluded with each other and thought of all ways to squeeze out the value of my little sister. What meaning is there left for me to live in this world? I'm leaving, you guys take care of yourselves. Qingya pouted her mouth and said, remember to take away the underwear on the balcony. I'm going to buy a packet of spicy gluten to calm myself down, then come back. Qing Yutong waved her hand, then left with her miserable back view. At this time a sentimental error should be added. Yihua hugged onto his wife and said faintly, 9-10, isn't that too ruthless? You don't know the speed at which she spends money. I'll help her save some money in case no one marries her in the future. Qingya said helplessly. Looking at Qingya's tenderness at this moment, Yihua discovered that Qingya was truly very beautiful, and his pair of hands unconsciously reached into his pajamas. What are you doing? Qingya grabbed onto that sinful big hand and shouted. Yihua came back to his senses. What happened just now? Did I eat the wrong medicine? Touch whether the child has grown up or not. Yihua didn't even know why he did that just now. He actually wanted to conquer her once again. Xianxia still did not know what this scoundrel was thinking. I don't know who was the one who said at the start, but Yi Hua will definitely not touch the same woman a second time. Xianxia said mockingly. This general immediately suppressed Yi Hua tightly. Yi Hua, who was extremely gloomy, put down the beauty that was in his embrace and walked to the balcony to smoke. Xianxia felt great and shouted out, Yi Hua, as long as you say that you are a big swindler, I will treat it as if you didn't say those words. Yi Hua silently smoked a stick of cigarette, then turned his head around and said coldly, the words that I, Yi Hua, have said, not even 10 kuan would be able to pull me back. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. After Xianxia finished speaking, she prepared to leave. After teaching my little sister a lesson, I seem to have forgotten to teach my husband a lesson. Forget it, look at how depressed my husband is, I will teach him a lesson next time. With a slight smile on her face, Xianxia returned to her bedroom. Seems like my charm did not degenerate. After consecutively smoking 2 cigarettes, Yi Hua finally calmed down. This woman can't be a spy, right? But thinking about it, who would send such a stupid spy? But his state of mind was changing. This kind of anxiety made Yi Hua a bit irritated. He sent a secret message to Lai Gu. How is the matter going? Your Honor, everything is settled. A cyan snow dragon. This type of dragon has extremely high nutritional value, and will be of great help to little Your Honor. A golden delicate crane which can nourish one's face and make one's madam even more beautiful. There is also a star cleansing sparrow which can strengthen madam's physique. I have placed both of them on an uninhabited planet. Yi Hua was rather satisfied. After sensing Lai Gu's location, Yi Hua immediately disappeared from the office. Just at this moment, Qin Yutong came back from the office after buying spicy gluten. Where did brother-in-law go? I wanted to show off a bit. When Yi Hua appeared once again, what was in front of him was an expanse of white light. The towering mountain peaks were all frozen into a thick layer of ice, and the corpses of 3 gigantic ancient beasts were lying at the center of the valley. If one were to calculate the surface area, the size of one of the 3 ancient beasts would be enough to occupy 8 soccer fields. The 3 ancient beasts all had one thing in common, and that was, a large piece of their necks were bitten off, and right now all of the 3 ancient beasts were still bleeding. The blood of the ancient beasts were all golden in color, and the nutritional value was also extremely high. Lai Gu's figure appeared on top of the corpses, and seemingly like he was showing off his battle prowess, Lai Gu ran to the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. You go back first. Yes, Your Honor. Before Lai Gu left, he secretly bit a piece of the golden delicate crane's meat, then happily returned to the big celebrity's house. Inside the luxurious villa, 3 beautiful figures were currently playing in the water, causing Lai Gu's saliva to flow out. If someone were to see these 3 beautiful figures, they would definitely cry out in surprise. Aren't these the 3 popular actresses? Why are there 2 more of them? I have to thank Lai Gu for pulling my 2 best friends into the water. And Lai Gu did not reject any of them. Yi Hua shook his head. This Lai Gu, he is rather generous towards women. Those female dragons in the past are also the same, but unfortunately all of them died in battle in the end. Because of this, Lai Gu was sad for an entire year, and then he gave up on himself. Could it be that he found his true love this time? Just that, Yi Hua didn't expect that Lai Gu found 3 true loves. If Yi Hua were to find out that his subordinates have more women than him, where would his face be? Yi Hua took off the fresh meat from the 3 ancient beasts' bodies, and also took a drop of blood. After all, the blood contained extremely strong power, and Xianxia was a normal human, so she couldn't eat too much of it. The feathers of the golden delicate crane and the star cleansing sparrow were not bad, they were rather beautiful, and they were very suitable for women. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Yi Hua first placed the meat in the fridge. After freezing it for a while, the taste would be even better. As for the feathers, I still have to process them a bit, if not, with just a fan I would fly away. Brother-in-law, where did you go just now? Qin Yutong walked out from the storage room and asked curiously. I bought some meat for dinner. Yi Hua said faintly. Qin Yutong responded with an "oh," then ran downstairs. After that, Yi Hua heard Qin Yutong's shout, Brother-in-law, help me move it, I can't move it. Yi Hua let out a breath. This sister-in-law sure is troublesome. I, the dignified supreme overlord, am going to help you move things. Yi Hua moved the big cardboard box into Qin Yutong's bedroom and asked puzzledly, "What is it?" "A computer. I am someone who is going to be a broadcaster. Of course I have to buy a computer that is used to make a living." Qin Yutong deftly assembled the computer, appearing to be very skilled. "Didn't you say that you don't have money?" "That's right, brother-in-law. You didn't bring your phone when you went out just now, so I used your money to buy it. I didn't expect that the password would be so simple." The corner of Yi Hua's mouth twitched, then walked out helplessly, leaving behind Qin Yutong, who was assembling the computer. After half an hour of assembling the computer, Qin Yutong let out a breath. "Finally done, my little darling. Quickly come out, master." Chapter 49. Master, the mission is a little complicated. I'm still calculating it. "What? Weren't you the one who asked me to come back and be a host?" Qin Yutong said snappily. Who in the world would just pat their buttocks and leave just like that? Not giving up on the title of Best Actress. Isn't it still this system that's making things difficult for me? "Master, there's a change in the mission." "What change?" Qin Yutong asked curiously. "The original main mission has been expanded to a side mission. You can win chicken dinner once with your own ability." Qin Yutong thought that it was some big mission. "Don't say one chicken, I can even eat 2 chickens. "Master, I'm talking about the PUBG game. You can search it online and you'll know. Remember, you have to get the PUBG during the live broadcast." After a long while, "You actually want me to be a game streamer? Don't you know that I am a girl with bad hands?" "Master, the system is here to make up for your flaws." Qin Yutong had already heard it a few hundred times. All right, tell me, what is the main quest?" "Main mission. Seduce brother-in-law and lose your virginity without your sister knowing." Qin Yutong was completely stupefied. How can there be such a ridiculous mission? System? Are you serious? "Yes. It feels so exciting, as long as master is happy." "Happy your sister? You actually told me to go and poach big sister's man. See if I don't beat you to death." Qin Yutong said angrily, "I have never seen such a shameless system." "Master, once you complete this main storyline, you will be able to use anything in the system shop." "What?" Qin Yutong was scared silly. "I have only exchanged for the things in the system 7 to 8 times, and I feel that I am almost invincible, but right now I can actually use them as I wish, and the condition is to push down brother-in-law. Isn't this too easy?" "Little darling, don't think that just because you are like this I will do something that will let down big sister. I am a very principled woman." Qin Yutong snorted, and with a righteous and awe-inspiring appearance, she had a look of not lowering her head to evil forces. "Master, is your brother-in-law handsome?" Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. "Of course, my big sister's eyes are still very bright." "Don't you have any ideas?" "Little sweetheart, are you questioning my character?" "Master, do you still have any moral standing?" Qin Yutong snorted. "Master, sisterly love can be shared. Think about how you can travel around the universe and visit all kinds of countries after you complete the mission. Don't you feel happy? You actually used this kind of thing to tempt me. If we have a deep sisterly love." "Master, your sister said that she would give you condoms. Have you forgotten? Maybe she can accept it." "Are you sure?" Qin Yutong's face was filled with disbelief. "Of course. Besides, you might not be able to complete the mission." "Your brother-in-law is not interested in you." Qin Yutong couldn't stand being goaded the most, and she said in disdain, "Tisk, that is only because I didn't bring out my true strength. Let me tell you, I will be able to push down brother-in-law tonight. Just you watch. If big sister gets angry, I will sell you out to be the scapegoat." "Master, as long as you can push me down, you can sell me out." "Good, with your words I can rest assured. From now on, the operation plan to overthrow brother-in-law has officially started. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law is here. Big sister, prepare the condoms." "Forget it, what the hell do I need condoms for? I want to give birth to a monkey for brother-in-law." The system let out a deep sigh. "I am letting you hug my thigh, there is no other meaning. Compared to the things that can be exchanged in the system, this man is the biggest treasure. Becoming the woman that he approves of will be the greatest glory. As a system, I can also act cool in the system world. Master, whether or not we can act cool will depend on you. Your big sister is already one step ahead of us. We cannot let go of the position of the second wife. At that time we will be above billions of people and below only 2 people. Right now, Yihua still didn't know that he had already been stared at by his sister-in-law. He walked into the bedroom and looked at Xianxia, who was on the bed. "Why do you sleep on the bed all day long? Pregnant woman, can't I sleep a lot?" Xianxia said faintly as she looked at the finance channel. Yihua didn't say anything. He sat at the bedside and said, "You are not allowed to go to tomorrow's banquet." "Why?" Xianxia asked gravely. "Why is this man so overbearing, not allowing this and not allowing that?" Yihua said lightly, "There's no reason why, as my woman, not just anyone can be invited to my place." Xianxia laughed. "You're acting cool after smoking syndrome is acting up again." Yihua didn't say anything and insisted on his own decision. Xianxia sighed. "I have already promised others if I don't go, I will offend the Dragon God Corporation. I just want you to learn how to reject those people. If you offend them, then so be it. In this world there is no one that I, Yihua, cannot offend." Yihua said in disdain. His goal was to let Xianxia learn a principle. "As long as you are my woman, you will be invincible. If others come to invite you, it is already giving you a lot of face because at least you still have the chance to invite them, while some people don't even have this chance." Xianxia suddenly became very serious. She stretched out her hand and touched Yihua's forehead, then touched her own forehead. "I don't have a fever. Let's go out for a walk tomorrow." Yihua slapped away Xianxia's hand and said coldly, "If this woman was slightly more obedient, I wouldn't be so tired." "Don't. It's not up to you to not want," Yihua said. "Do I still have human rights?" "I am protesting against your dictatorship. There is no need to discuss this matter anymore. I have already decided. Do you dare to run and let me see?" "I will run and let you see." After speaking, Xianxia wore her slippers. Just that, she was only wearing one slipper when she was carried by Yihua. "You bastard, let go of me, let go of me. If I don't go, let's go and starve." Xianxia slapped onto Yihua's arm. "If I offend the Dragon God Corporation, my plan to go north would be ruined. Furthermore, if the Dragon God Corporation were to speak, a lot of suppliers would have to say goodbye to me. This interlocking reaction would make Qingqing International go bankrupt." Yihua didn't use much strength and said lightly, "Don't move, be careful of the child. Just how unlucky am I to have a husband like you? Do you know what the consequence of me not going tomorrow is? Our family of 3 will have to go begging for food. I will support you." Xianxia's heart trembled fiercely as she stared fixedly at Yihua with her beautiful eyes. She suddenly felt that the current Yihua was really handsome. "Why am I being infatuated? I have to quickly slap myself to wake up. Save your bar first, then talk." Xianxia became a lot calmer, and her body was even slightly leaning into Yihua's embrace. "Xianxia," Yihua suddenly called out. "Follow me and you don't have to fear anyone." Not knowing why, Xianxia felt that what Yihua said was the truth, but she just couldn't stand seeing this fellow putting on a stern face. He is obviously hugging onto a super beauty, yet he still seems to be disgusted by her. "What was your first woman like?" After a long while, Xianxia suddenly asked. Even she herself didn't know why she asked this question. Yihua said faintly, "It has been many years, I don't remember." Chapter 50. "TSK, you still don't remember? You're probably reminiscing about it." When Xianxia said these words, she was completely unaware of how sour her tone was. "Why doesn't this bastard know how to tactfully lie to me?" Yihua said faintly. "On the other hand, the aftertaste is quite deep for you." Scram, Xianxia felt that Yihua would be able to talk about this matter for the rest of his life. "If I had known earlier, I would have obediently returned home and slept that night. Of all people, I just had to come to this leisure bar to offer my body. As expected, I am very stupid." What Yihua said is absolutely right. As a supreme being, it had been a long time since he had heard these two touching phrases. If it wasn't for his woman, he would have been sent flying long ago. If one were to carefully listen to Xianxia's tone, one would be able to tell that Xianxia was just acting coquettishly. However, it was a pity that the honest and straightforward Yihua was unable to tell. "Yihua, where are your parents?" After a long while, Xianxia asked. "In any case, he has seen my family, so I should also meet him." "No." After hearing that, Xianxia went into a daze. Soon after, she apologized. "I'm sorry." Yihua remained silent and Xianxia also remained silent. The atmosphere became strange once again. Looking at Xianxia's pair of slim and small hands, Yihua wrinkled his brows. As the woman of my supreme overlord, how can my hands be empty? If news of this were to spread out, where would I put my face? However, Yihua felt that the things that I, the supreme overlord, gave to my woman would definitely be unique and of a high grade. Suddenly, Yihua recalled the movie that he watched last night. That kind of combination of gems is a bit interesting. Opening up the gem chest inside the space ring, Yihua found the space stone, time stone, soul stone, reality stone, power stone, and spirit stone. Inside the space ring, 6 infinity gems could be seen floating in the darkness, emitting resplendent lights that immediately lit up the entire space ring. Inside the space ring, various kinds of items could be seen, and any one of them would be able to make anyone go crazy. Wei Chong had a hobby of collecting, and this was all because he learned from Yihua. Like leader, like subordinate. The 6 infinity gems gradually moved closer to each other. If someone were to see this scene, they would definitely collapse in fear. These gems could be embedded, but they could not be fused. After all, every type of gemstone had a representative power. Who knew what would happen if the fusion failed? Yihua, ignorant humans, you will never know just how powerful the Supreme Overlord is. In that moment, the space ring shone with a powerful light, causing the entire space ring to shake. However, this violent energy was quickly suppressed by another energy, gradually calming down. It was like a tamed puppy. The 6 infinity gems had disappeared, leaving behind only one gem. It was so beautiful that it was suffocating. It had the power to destroy heaven and earth, and this huge contrast made people's hearts go cold. Yihua wrinkled his brows. The bracelet is too big. If I were to wear this bracelet on my hand using the words of humans, it would be vulgar. Along with Yihua's clenching of his palm, the entire gemstone instantly shrunk. The size of the gemstone was neither too big nor too small, just that after the gemstone shrunk, it had a different kind of beauty to it. Yihua looked towards the weapon rack at the side, and a spear immediately flew out from the weapon rack. If I remember correctly, this should be an overlord's weapon. This spear's name was 3 Realms Crystal Spear, and Yihua was still unclear about the material of the spear. Back then when I killed this overlord, I also paid a price. If it wasn't for this spear, I wouldn't have gotten injured. However, it doesn't matter right now, this spear can only be used as a ring. A powerful pressure suddenly burst out from the body of the spear, and the originally pitch-black sound of the spear became silvery white, and even became transparent. It seemed to be resisting Yihua's power. In actuality, weapons that have reached this level all have their own consciousness. It's just that this spear underestimated Yihua's power, thinking that Yihua was only an overlord back then. The sound of the spear was trembling, as if it was carrying unwillingness and deep fear. Under Yihua's control, the spear's body gradually became thinner, and soon after, it turned into a circle. At the opening of the spear, 6 silver thorns extended out, looking like a dragon claw. The infinity stone in the air slowly fell into the ring, and an infinity ring was successfully born. Taking into consideration the powerful energy of the ring, Yihua placed a seal on it. With Xianxia's identity as a human, she was unable to activate the power of the ring, and it was just a unique ring. After all, Yihua didn't know what would happen if he were to wear this ring and snap his fingers. What if the movie was real? The infinity stone that fused together would probably be even more overpowered. I really don't know if Yihua is giving a present or a time bomb. Xianxia. Wear this ring. Yihua took out the infinity ring, and Xianxia was instantly captivated by the ring on Yihua's hand. Women, after all of them like glittering diamonds, and this diamond's color is something that even Xianxia has never seen before. Although it isn't big, it is stunning. What is this fellow trying to do by fawning on me for no reason? However, it is really beautiful. Where did you buy it from? How much did you spend? Although Xianxia questioned Yihua with her mouth, she was still very happy in her heart, and there was even a blush on her face. Yihua said faintly, "Street stall goods not worth much." Xianxia also felt that Yihua was right. This kind of strange ring is definitely not a pure diamond, it should be artificially made. Xianxia's guess was right, the ring was indeed artificially made. Are you going to propose to me? You are thinking too much, I just saw that your hand is empty. The favorable impression that Xianxia just had was instantly extinguished, and she snorted and turned her head away. Yihua wouldn't let Xianxia fool around like this, and he picked up the ring and put it on. Wrong. Wear it on your left hand. Xianxia snorted and reminded. Yihua let out a breath and took off the ring. What are you wearing it on my thumb for? It isn't my index finger either. You actually wore it on my pinky. Yihua said gravely, enough. Isn't it just a ring? It doesn't matter which one I wear. Xianxia, who was flustered and exasperated, snatched the ring over and wore it on her ring finger. It sure is beautiful. I'm so happy. Wrong. Why do I have to be happy? This fellow took my card and still wants to buy street stall goods. However, it is good that he has this kind of intention. Looking at the ring on Yihua's index finger, Xianxia pouted her mouth. You should also learn to wear that ring like mine. You are no longer a single noble now. You have a family now. Women are so troublesome. Yihua said gravely, but he still changed the ring over. Humph, troublesome, why did you give me a ring? Xianxia stretched out her hand. No matter how I look at it, it is beautiful. Yihua sure is considerate. Yihua pursed his lips and said faintly, because you are pitiful. I think that you are more or less pitiful. If it wasn't for me, you would be prepared to be single for your entire life. Would I? Yihua lack women. Can you not act cool? Chapter 51. Xianxia finally understood why this fellow gave her something for no reason. It was actually to bribe her. With this bit of sincerity, she might consider peeling 20 kilograms of crayfish. Let's see. Xianxia muttered. I will bring you out for a walk tomorrow. Don't lie on the bed every day. Yihua said gravely. Why is this woman so disobedient? She always does whatever I say. Xianxia struggled free from Yihua's embrace. Even her pajamas were unable to hide her curvaceous figure. Tomorrow is Monday. There are still a lot of things waiting for me to settle in the company. You are the boss. Do they still need you to handle this kind of small matter? Of course, how can they make such a decision? Xianxia raised her chin and said proudly. Look at me, so young and already holding a lot of money. I am also beautiful. In any case, I have all kinds of good points. For you to have a wife like me, you should burn incense and pray to Buddha. Yihua stood up and said with an unquestionable tone, right now is the age of the internet. Everything can be done at home. Wait until you give birth before going out. Impossible. You can give it a try. Change your clothes and come out to eat. I have specially prepared some tonics for you. After speaking, Yihua walked out of the bedroom, not giving Xianxia a chance to resist. Xianxia angrily sat on the bed, picked up the pillow and threw it here and there, fantasizing that the pillow was Yihua. How great would that be? However, looking at the ring on her ring finger, she was a bit happy in her heart. So beautiful. Yihua took out the iced prehistoric beast meat and cut it into 3 very evenly. Obsessive-compulsive patients were like this. He tore open a bag of spicy gluten and placed a few spicy gluten to decorate the food. Looking at the bright red meat and spicy gluten, Yihua was very satisfied with his work. Soon after, he took out a champagne glass, filled it with boiling water, then used that drop of blood and dripped it into the glass. The white boiling water instantly turned into a golden color and even became very thick. It was not a liquid, but the taste was great. Then Yihua made the feathers of the golden crane and star sparrow into a fan and used the dragon bone as the frame of the fan. Then he sealed the fan so that the entire city would not be blown away. Needless to say, these 2 fans were indeed beautiful. The golden crane's feathers were orange and there were even complicated patterns on its feathers, making it look very mysterious, while the star sparrow's feathers were snow white without any impurities, making it look very noble and elegant, just like his woman. Everyone come down and eat. Yihua placed the food on the table and said like a waiter. After quite a while, the 2 sisters walked down from the stairs. Yihua wrinkled his brows. These 2 women really don't care about their image at all. Luckily, there is no one else around. They are still wearing their pajamas even though they are eating. Brother-in-law, where's your dragon meat? Qing Yutong ran over and asked jokingly. In Yihua's eyes, his sister-in-law was just like a child that had not grown up yet and needed time to baptize her. For the time being, he would not touch her unless she was able to meet his requirements. In actuality, what Yihua said was a kind of human feeling. This feeling isn't right. No matter how I look at it, it doesn't feel good. Just like the first time I saw Xianxia, I was immediately captivated by Xianxia's noble temperament. That's why the first impression is very important, and Qin Yutong was also able to act out the noble temperament of a big sister, but because her first impression was ruined, this caused her to still be a child. Have a seat, Yihua said faintly. Like a sovereign king, he sat down first, while the two sisters sat down like concubines. Just that, right now their complexion wasn't very good. You want me to eat raw meat? Don't you know there are bacteria in it? Xianxia wrinkled her eyebrows and said unhappily. I thought that Yihua would be concerned about me, but in the end it was still the same. This time Qin Yutong also helped her big sister and said, Brother-in-law, big sister is pregnant right now. How can you let big sister eat raw meat? This meat is even red. Two ignorant women. How many people want to eat raw meat but are unable to eat it, and the two of you actually dislike it? Qin Yutong could be heard continuing, Brother-in-law, do you have to be so elegant even when eating spicy gluten? Suddenly Qin Yutong suddenly shrieked, Big sister, what are you wearing on your hand? Xianxia rolled her eyes at her little sister. Aren't you asking the obvious? Qin Yutong immediately held onto her big sister's hand. Such a beautiful ring, I didn't see you wearing it this morning. Could it be that it was given by brother-in-law? Brother-in-law, how can you be like this? Isn't there a share for me? Qin Yutong liked this kind of ring too much. She felt that this ring was even more amazing than ordinary diamonds. Xianxia's head was about to explode. Can this ring be casually given away? Giving it to me is a matter of course, but what would it look like if it was given to my little sister? Qin Yutong puffed up her cheeks and stretched out her hands in front of Yihua. In any case, I want it. I have no choice but to give it to Yihua. Xianxia, who was at the side, shook her head. My little sister is still the same as before. Whenever I have something good, she would snatch it away, and if I don't give it to her, she would act shamelessly. I remember that when I was young she was still rolling on the ground and it was all for a doll. Yihua took out the fans that he had finished making and placed the orange one on Qin Yutong's hands. The latter was stupefied. I didn't expect that there would really be a gift for me. The beauty of this fan is not the slightest bit inferior to the ring. Holding it in my hands is super elegant. With a light fan I immediately felt relaxed and happy. Qin Yutong was about to die from happiness. And when Qin Yutong's system saw the fan, its jaws almost dropped off. There is no item in the system shop that can compare to this fan, and the attributes of the ring on my master's big sister's hand are even filled with question marks. This man is indeed very strong. It is indeed not wrong for me to let my master hug onto my master's thigh. Just that, with master's temper, I'm afraid that it will be hard for me to do it in a short period of time. Qin Yutong could be seen suddenly standing up, then kissed onto Yihua's cheek. Thank you, brother-in-law. Just that, right now Xianxia was about to spit out fire. Why does my little sister have it but I don't? Also, this Yutong, she actually kissed your brother-in-law right in front of me. Do you think that I am transparent? Seeing that her big sister's mood was a bit unstable, Qin Yutong knew that she was too excited just now and said embarrassedly to her big sister, Big sister, don't misunderstand, this is a very pure kiss. It is a gift from sister-in-law to thank brother-in-law. Just as Xianxia was about to start scolding her big sister, a spotlessly white fan appeared in front of her. Swoosh. When the fan opened up, Xianxia seemed to be able to see specks of stars floating out. How can a fan be so beautiful? Xianxia took the fan blankly and a gentle smile appeared on her face. The displeasure that she had just now immediately disappeared. Seems like Yihua also learned how to coax women. This was not Yihua intentionally coaxing women, he just wanted to give them a bit of benefit. I finally understand the difference between a wife and sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, you are simply too biased. Qin Yutong was very jealous. Big sister's white fan is even more beautiful. The system was currently collapsing. Xianxia kept the fan happily, then took a glare at her little sister. Eat your food. Humph, Qin Yutong snorted and took a sip of the champagne. At least in Qin Yutong's eyes, this was champagne. However, Qin Yutong opened her beautiful eyes wide. What is this thing? Why does it taste so good? Although it was just a small sip, that unique fragrance swirled in my mouth and soon after, it entered my brain, igniting my excited nerves. This is 2F** King delicious. Chapter 52. Looking at the empty wine cup, Qin Yutong was filled with hatred. Just now, I shouldn't have finished the wine cup in one gulp and should have slowly tasted it. Qin Yutong's gaze immediately moved to the other 2 cups. Yi Hua and Qin picked up the wine cup at the same time, causing Qin Yutong to stomp her feet in anger. These 2 stingy fellows. Qin finally knew why her little sister would reveal such an expression. This wine is really delicious, so delicious that it could explode. I feel that my taste buds have been opened up. I have never drunk such a delicious drink before. Qin, it's fine to drink this. Yi Hua said faintly, then picked up the knife and fork and began to enjoy the fresh meat of the ancient beast. Qin lightly, oh, then sipped on the meat bit by bit, causing Qin Yutong's saliva to flow out. Brother-in-law, I want more, Qin Yutong shouted out sweetly, continuously twisting her body like a child acting coquettishly. Yi Hua unhurriedly ate a piece of meat, and he felt that the taste was still the same. There wasn't much change. You can only drink 1 cup a week. What, brother-in-law, you are just stingy, humph. That's right. Qin followed along and agreed. Seems like I also want to drink it every day. Can you guys drink the blood of the ancient beast every day? Aren't you afraid of it exploding? Qin Yutong looked at the fresh red meat on the plate and made up her mind. Isn't it just red meat? I have even eaten red steaks before. Yi Hua chose one of the 3 pieces of meat, then cut a small piece and stuffed it into his mouth with his eyes narrowed. 0.1 seconds later. Qin Yutong opened her eyes wide once again. What kind of meat is this? It actually melted in my mouth. This is the meat of the cleansing star sparrow. It has the miraculous effect of melting in one's mouth, and it can even strengthen one's body. How many overlords want to have a taste of this meat? But the cleansing star sparrow's strength is too strong, and they are unable to catch up. Looking at brother-in-law's calm face, Qin Yutong finally understood why the system pushed me to brother-in-law. This is the hidden super big boss. Big sister, quickly eat the meat, it is super delicious. Qin seemed to still be worried. Qin, I won't joke around with children. Yi Hua said gravely, this woman actually doesn't trust me this much. Qin let out a heavy breath. Due to the fact that Yi Hua had done a lot of unreasonable things before, I am worried about him. She elegantly cut a piece of tender meat and placed it in her mouth. Her furrowed brows gradually relaxed. Although this meat didn't have the taste of salt, it was exceptionally sweet and delicious. It even had a strange fragrance to it, and it didn't have the pungent smell of cattle or sheep. This was a piece of golden crane meat. It was rumored that this meat had the effect of beautifying one's skin and could even preserve one's appearance forever. It also had the effect of reviving the dead. An ugly woman could become a beautiful woman. It was the dream of many women, and there were even many female supreme beings who were willing to do anything for this meat. Unfortunately, no one could do it. The effect will be even better if you pair it with spicy gluten, Yi Hua reminded. The 2 sisters rolled their eyes at him. When you are enjoying the delicacies, please do not spoil the mood. In less than 5 minutes, the 2 sisters finished wiping out all of the meat. At the same time, the 2 sisters looked towards Yi Hua, because there was still a piece of meat that Yi Hua had not finished. Eating too much is not good for your body. Yi Hua directly ignored his wife's threatening gaze and his sister-in-law's pitiful gaze. The 2 sisters snorted at the same time. Too stingy, it is obvious that I want to eat it, and yet he still says that eating too much is not good for my body. It's so hot. After a while, Qin Yutong shouted out as she picked up her golden fan and started waving it. Brother-in-law, did you drug sister-in-law? You 2 are so perverted, I want to go home, Qin Yutong teased. Although it was hot, it didn't feel like that. Qin also felt very hot. After picking up the star cleansing fan and fanning it slightly, she felt much more comfortable. However, she looked towards Yi Hua with a questioning gaze. Did you drug me? It's fine if you drug me, but you even drug my little sister. You are simply shameless. Yi Hua picked up a white towel and wiped his mouth. This is dragon meat. After eating it, you will feel a bit hot, but you will be fine after a while. Dragon meat? Brother-in-law, can you not brag? Yi Hua said faintly. The frame of the fan that you 2 are holding is also made from dragon bones. Alright Yi Hua, I know that you want to smoke, quickly go out and smoke. Qin couldn't continue listening to Yi Hua. This bragging is about to reach outer space. On the other hand, Qin Yutong somewhat believed in Yi Hua. I must dig out the evidence that brother-in-law is a demon king, but the system isn't saying anything. Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly, "Brother-in-law, is there still meat for us to eat tomorrow?" "Once a week." "Brother-in-law. I hate you, you let me experience pleasure, but you are unable to control the number of times that pleasure occurs." Qingya was hating iron for not becoming steel. "Qing Yutong, can you speak properly?" The latter made a funny face, then eagerly ran up and hugged onto Yihua, preparing for the plan that night, to take down brother-in-law, this demon king, in one go. "Don't be angry, Yutong is still a child," Yihua said lightly. Qingya stood up and tidied up the table. "Child? Other children at this age already know how to walk." Yihua was very gratified. Right now, Qingya knows that she is already tidying up and doesn't need me to remind her. As her big sister, didn't you just become a bad child? Yihua, just whose side are you standing on? Yihua smiled slightly and the latter immediately became unwilling. "What are you smiling for? Speak clearly." "Boss, lady boss." At this time Wei Chong suddenly appeared at the door and behind him was Tang Wei. Qingya let out a sigh of relief and did not find trouble with Yihua anymore. A smart woman would not be fierce towards a man in front of an outsider. Yihua nodded his head, then walked up and hugged onto Qingya. "Uncle Wei, I want to take a leave of absence tonight." Tang Wei said a bit embarrassedly. She had forgotten about the matter of treating Qi Shuwen to a meal. Wei Chong nodded his head and did not ask for the reason. Tang Wei thought that Wei Chong was angry and hurriedly explained, "Uncle Wei, classmate Qi helped me today, so I have to treat him to a meal. It will only take 2 hours, after that I will come over again." Wei Chong placed down the surrounding stools. "It's fine, just have fun with your classmate. You have worked hard on cooking today." Tang Wei's heart sunk. What does Uncle Wei mean by this? He was clearly still fine just a moment ago. Why did his face suddenly change? Could it be that I want to treat other people to a meal? That must be the case. Tang Wei could be seen using her new phone to send a message to Qi Shuwen. "I might as well just treat him to a meal tomorrow afternoon." After sending the message, Tang Wei helped Wei Chong place the stools. "What's wrong?" Wei Chong asked curiously. "Nothing much, I feel that work is more important, so I will leave it till tomorrow." Wei Chong patted onto Tang Wei's shoulder. "Xiao Tang, since that person helped you and you also promised to help him, then you should fulfill your promise." "Uncle Wei, hurry up and go." I didn't expect that. I underestimated Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei is really different from ordinary men. "Uncle Wei, I will be leaving first, then I will be back in 2 hours." Without waiting for Wei Chong to reply, Tang Wei ran out of leisure bar. Wei Chong shook his head helplessly. The thinking of humans is really hard to fathom. Chapter 53. At night, Leisure Bar's business was still cold and cheerless. There were only a few people here and there, which made Yihua very unhappy. However, the main culprit was sitting on the bed and gracefully fanning the star-cleansing fan in her hands. Looking at Qingya's expression, Yihua felt hot. Qingya, who was currently watching a drama, noticed Yihua's gaze and immediately hugged onto the quilt, giving Yihua a cold gaze, seemingly saying that if you dare to come over, I will fight you to the death. Letting out a breath, Yihua said faintly, "Go out and smoke a cigarette." After Yihua left, Qingya pouted her mouth. "What do you mean by not touching a woman a second time? Will you die if you don't brag?" Coming to the office, Yihua was a bit vexed. "I am a supreme overlord, the words that I say are like water that is poured out, but today I have this feeling twice in a row. How is this possible?" Lighting up a cigarette and turning on the television, "Right now, only happiness can calm the heat in my heart." Suddenly the office door was pushed open. "Oh, brother-in-law," Qing Yutong could be seen wearing a golden chong sam. She who had a tall and slender figure was indeed able to carry the chong sam, appearing noble and gorgeous. Coupled with the golden fan in her hand, slightly moving her face, revealing a pair of enchanting beautiful eyes, she was simply able to kill everyone. Qing Yutong looked at the stupefied brother-in-law and secretly rejoiced in her heart. "When I make a move, even Xuanzang would have to kneel down and lick my boots. Are you sick? Dressing like this in the middle of the night?" Yihua's mood was already very bad, and when his sister-in-law suddenly appeared wearing a dazzling golden outfit, Yihua was simply shocked. "Master, I already said that this set of clothes of yours is not good, right? You didn't believe me." Qing Yutong was immediately stupefied. "What's not good about me?" Long legs, perky butt, slim waist, big chest, extremely beautiful face. Brother-in-law actually said that I am sick. I'm injured. I'm injured. I will never be able to recover in this lifetime. Looking at the dazed Qin Yutong leave, Yi Hua lit up another cigarette. The office was really filled with smoke because these two women were both very worrisome. Qin Yutong, who returned to her bedroom, groaned non-stop and also felt wronged. I, the grand movie empress, went to seduce brother-in-law and was actually scolded as sick. This face of mine is completely thrown into the gutter. Master, you can't do this directly. Your brother-in-law is a man with principles. There is actually someone who is praising Yi Hua for having principles. In that case, I have to properly redefine the word principles. Qin Yutong took off her golden battle gown, wore a pair of shorts and a cartoon short-sleeved shirt, then sat in front of the computer. If one were to look carefully, Qin Yutong's eyes were a bit red. Seems like she was truly hurt and her pride was hurt. Master, your brother-in-law is here. Dong dong dong. Sure enough, someone knocked on the door. Qin Yutong shook her lower lip, then walked over to open the door. After that, she directly threw herself onto the bed, then used the quilt to cover her head, and put on a posture of not wanting to see anyone. Yi Hua shook his head. This sister-in-law of mine is really one thing after another. In actuality, Yi Hua wanted to apologize to his sister-in-law. However, after thinking about it, I am a supreme overlord. If this matter of me apologizing to my sister-in-law were to spread out, where would my face be? Are you used to living here? Yi Hua asked lightly. Qin Yutong covered the quilt and let out a pitiful cry. Qin Yutong is using a move of retreating in order to advance. Brother-in-law definitely came over because he felt guilty in his heart, and I threw myself onto the bed, and my perky butt is facing towards brother-in-law. If I didn't guess wrongly, brother-in-law is definitely staring at my butt, and after looking for a while he won't be able to endure it anymore. At that time if you are not used to living here, you can go home. Yi Hua said indifferently, then walked out of the room without even turning his head back. Qin Yutong froze. Even after hearing the sound of the door closing, she still did not wake up. This was the first time that she doubted her appearance and figure. Could it be that I am old? Did my butt lose its luster and elasticity? Why is brother-in-law able to face my perky butt so calmly? Just how did big sister do it to actually give birth to a monkey with brother-in-law? Master, after the incident just now, I created a series of walkthroughs for you. The system said helplessly. Qin Yutong clenched her small fists tightly. In this world, which brother-in-law doesn't have any thoughts towards his sister-in-law, let alone such a beautiful sister-in-law. Xiao Guai, give me this brother-in-law's walkthroughs. No problem. First of all, your brother-in-law has to be infatuated with you. The first mission, make brother-in-law be willing to touch your thighs once. Xiao Guai could be said to have spared no effort to find a walkthrough, but if she were to complete all of the missions, brother-in-law would fall apart on his own. Xiao Guai, I didn't expect that your heart is so evil. Qin Yutong said with a face full of disdain. Master, don't think that it is just a small mission. As long as brother-in-law is willing to help, you have already won half of the mission. Qin Yutong thought for a bit, and it really does seem like that. Just that, how can I lure brother-in-law to touch my thighs? This is the problem. From today onwards, I am going to wear miniskirts and miniskirts. Master, you are wrong again. I suggest that you learn from your big sister. I don't want to learn from her, always putting on a stern face. She has always been like that since young. Qin Yutong pouted her small mouth and said. In actuality, Qin Yutong was just not used to seeing big sister's high and mighty attitude, but after coming back this time, she discovered that big sister had changed. The system knew its master's personality and did not force her. Master, it will be fine as long as you insist on being yourself. How do you think my big sister pushed down brother-in-law? Did she drug him? Xiao Guai, is there any drug that is a bit more powerful in the system shop? Forget it, just take it that I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? We are grasshoppers on the same boat. You better overdraft me a bit. If not, how are the two of us going to act cool? How are we going to fly? Master, can you have a bit of moral integrity? Even if you want to hug someone's thigh, you shouldn't do it like this. I might as well just sleep together with big sister and brother-in-law. Qin Yutong thought and rushed out of the bedroom. Not long later, Qin Yutong's miserable shriek and Qin Ya's scolding could be heard from the bedroom. Qin Yutong, who had a gray face and hair, suddenly closed the door. Damn, big sister's temper is getting bigger and bigger. Even when we were young, I didn't see her having such a big reaction when we slept together. Master, can you have a bit of face? F***K. It is already shameless for you to come out with this kind of mission, and you are still asking me to have face? I think that your skin is itching. You are asking for a beating. In the bedroom, Yi Hua leaned on the bed and said with a slight smile, "Our bed is big enough. It is fine to let Yutong come over and sleep." "Alright, you go and call her then," Xianxia said coldly, giving off the feeling of a fierce wife. Yi Hua did not say anything. Xianxia, who is jealous, is still rather cute. "Tonight you can lean over, but don't drool." "Who wants to lean on you?" Xianxia rolled up the blanket and leaned on the side. Yi Hua did not say anything and turned off the light. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The clock on the wall rang very regularly, and Xianxia finally couldn't take it anymore. She turned around and hugged onto Yi Hua. "Don't misunderstand, I am just used to hugging onto things when I sleep. If not, I won't be able to fall asleep." "You are saying that I am a thing," Yi Hua said gravely. Chapter 54. On Monday, Long and city was shrouded by dark clouds, and soon after, it started drizzling. Yi Hua opened his eyes, subconsciously touched onto his chest, and let out a sigh of relief. Turning his head around, he looked at Xianxia, who was sleeping soundly at the side, and the corner of his mouth hooked up into an arc. Stretching out his hand, he stroked onto Xianxia's smooth hair. Sob, sob, sob. Seeing that Xianxia was about to wake up, Yi Hua immediately retracted his hand. "What time is it?" Xianxia asked faintly. 6 o'clock. "I'll buy breakfast for you." Yi Hua's heart trembled, then said slowly, "Don't go, it's raining outside. And then I will sleep for a while more. Wake me up at 7 a.m. After finished speaking, Xianxia gradually fell asleep again. "All right." Yi Hua was unable to fall asleep again. "If I didn't hear wrongly just now, she said that she was going to buy breakfast." Yi Hua suddenly smiled, and this time the arc of his smile was especially big. Is this the kind of mutual concern that humans have? Was this the so-called husband and wife? I remember that a very long time ago I had also killed a few couples. Even now, I still remember that at that time that human woman died and that man became especially crazy. Although it was all futile, I am very curious as to why he was so sad. However, right now I finally understand. If someone were to take this woman's life, then Yi Hua, what time is it? Xianxia, who was in a daze, asked indistinctly. If Yi Hua was to choose, he hoped that Xianxia would forever remain in this half-asleep, half-awake state. Right now, she was just like a little kitten, just that after she woke up, she would become an unfeeling cat that would always go against others. Yi Hua took a look at the clock. It will be 7 o'clock in 10 minutes. Xianxia opened her beautiful eyes, and the soft expression that she had just now completely disappeared. Sitting up, Xianxia stretched her waist, while Yi Hua, who was leaning on the head of the bed, looked at this enchanting back view. I have killed countless people, and I didn't expect that I would actually be able to have a human lying beside me right now. Xianxia paused for a bit, seemingly preparing to have an argument with Yi Hua in the morning. After waiting for a minute, Yi Hua still didn't say anything, causing Xianxia to be extremely puzzled. Could it be that this fellow is using some new tactic today? Wearing the SpongeBob SquarePants version slippers, Xianxia decided to not move in the dark. I will go and wash up first, then go to work. If he doesn't allow me, I will cry. I will make a scene. I will make a scene. I will cry. I will make a scene. Ah. Right after walking into the bathroom, Xianxia let out a shriek as if she had seen Yi Hua's real body. Yi Hua thought that Xianxia had fallen, and without caring about anything else, his figure immediately appeared in the washroom. Just that, the fall that Xianxia imagined didn't happen. Instead, Xianxia looked at the mirror and touched her own face. That shocked look on her face made Xianxia think that her face was disfigured. If there's nothing, don't randomly shout. Yi Hua said gravely, then opened the door and walked out. Xianxia didn't even know that Yi Hua had come in, and she was completely shocked by her own appearance. Why is it that I am much more beautiful than yesterday? Her skin had truly reached a rosy white state. Oh my god, how did she become so beautiful? No, she couldn't be any more beautiful. Otherwise it would be too easy for that guy. He had such a beautiful wife, yet he was still so talkative. If it was someone else, they would have already worshipped her like an empress dowager, hitting wherever she pointed. After washing up, Xianxia discovered that Yi Hua was not in the bedroom. This is a good opportunity. She immediately changed into a suit, picked up her bag and walked with her body bent like a thief. However, the sound that came out from her high heels was a bit too loud. Xianxia was also trying to deceive herself. After walking down the stairs without any mishaps, Xianxia patted her chest. However, upon thinking that Yi Hua would be worried about me and when the time comes he might throw a tantrum like that day. Forget it, I'll just leave him a note. Pressing the note on the bar counter, Xianxia quietly left Leisure Bar, then drove the Audi A8 that was parked outside and headed towards Long and City's branch. Just after Xianxia left, Yi Hua walked out from the side of the hall. In actuality he saw everything but he just didn't stop him. Looking at the note in his hand, Yi Hua laughed lightly, and the note instantly turned into dust. Yi Hua, I am going to work now. I really have a very important matter to deal with. After I finish dealing with it, I will be working at home. Also, I hope that you can accompany me to tonight's banquet. If not, we will really have to eat dirt. This silly woman, she can even enjoy dragon meat whenever she wants with me. How can she possibly eat dirt? Today my mood is pretty good, so I decided to change my taste and go to the street to buy a fruit jianbing. I also want to add an extra egg and an extra ham. Just that, human aunties are too stingy, they even want to pay for the food they add. Don't you know that it is your honor for me to eat at your place? Just after Yi Hua left, a scream that could even make the gods cry rang out from Qin Yutong's bedroom. Qin Yutong held onto her own face in disbelief. I have been looking at this face for more than 20 years, how can it become so beautiful today? Although the change is not very big, it is still beautiful and even I want to go up and lick it. Little sweetheart, did you do something to me last night? Not bad, just stand in front of brother-in-law with this face. I don't believe that brother-in-law will be able to endure it. A strong self-confidence swelled up in Qin Yutong's heart. I am not bragging, just by crooking my finger brother-in-law will be able to push me down. The system also had a stupefied look on its face. Master. Little darling, you don't have to say any more. Although you are a bit stingy normally during crucial times, you are still rather reliable. Qin Yutong lightly flipped her hair, then bit onto her lower lip. My god, I really wish that I could *ck myself. Why do I have to look like this? This action of biting onto my lower lip is really unbearable for me. I have to go and show off in front of big sister. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong ran out and barged into Yi Hua's bedroom without even knocking on the door. Originally, I thought that there would be some explosive scene, but in the end the bedroom was empty. What did the two of them do so early in the morning? When she came downstairs, she still did not see anyone. Qin Yutong, who was bored, straightforwardly sat on the bar counter and laughed foolishly. Yesterday brother-in-law actually treated me like that. Today he will definitely regret it to death. Humph. Not long later the target appeared. Qin Yutong excitedly ran in front of Yi Hua, who was currently eating a fruit jianbing. Brother-in-law, look at my face, do you feel that it is different? Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. This should be the effect of the golden crane meat. I didn't expect that the effect would be quite good. The overall effect of sister-in-law has become perfect. Just that, the current sister-in-law is still not proper. It is indeed different, there is more eye wax. Yi Hua said calmly, then walked past Qin Yutong, who was absent-minded, and walked up the stairs. Auditory hallucination. Just now, I definitely had an auditory hallucination. Not mentioning other things, just based on this face of mine, I can even kill a child, and brother-in-law actually said that I have eye wax. How is this possible? Master, there is indeed a small piece of eye wax at the corner of your eyes. Ah. Why didn't you say so earlier? Qin Yutong felt that she followed the wrong teammate. Don't you even know how to remind me? Chapter 55. No. Brother-in-law must be playing hard to get. I'm sorry. After all, I'm his sister-in-law. It's inevitable that I'm a little shy. Brother-in-law, with a smile on her face, Qin Yutong pushed open the office door, and saw that her brother-in-law was currently smoking beside the window. Yi Hua didn't turn his head around and just responded. Where's sis? I went to work. Oh, Qing Yutong stood on the tip of her toes and tried to figure out her brother-in-law's thoughts. Right now I am unable to attack and I have to retreat in order to advance. Brother-in-law, I'll go back to my room first. Qing Yutong said tenderly. The moment she turned around she was shouting in her heart. Quickly shout, I know that it is very hard for you to endure, don't be reserved. 1 minute later Yi Hua extinguished the cigarette and looked at Qing Yutong who was frozen at the doorway. Didn't you want to return to your room? Qing Yutong was once again injured. Brother-in-law really doesn't give me any face at all. When big sister is still around, brother-in-law still hugged onto my waist. But now that big sister is not around, brother-in-law doesn't even look at me in the eye. Master, your brother-in-law is not an ordinary man. That's right, ordinary men would have long pounced on me. Qing Yutong helplessly returned to her room. She had to properly organize her thoughts. Long and City's Qingqing International Building used to be the headquarters, but for the sake of development, the headquarters had already been moved to Gaohai City. After all, Gaohai City was a first-rate commercial city. After parking the car at the company's parking lot, Qingya picked up her handbag and opened the car door. At this moment she once again transformed into the cold and arrogant female CEO, and at this time it was also the peak hour of work. There were quite a lot of employees who were working at the parking lot, and all of them were looking at this mysterious woman. Oh my God, when did such a beautiful woman come to our company? Could it be the new director? That's impossible. I heard that the position of director has already been decided internally. I really want to hug her thighs and lick her. She's in the elevator. I have to charge bro instantly. Many champions of the 100-meter dash appeared in the parking lot. Brother, why are you running? I don't know. I saw them running so I ran too. Qingya was as cold as frost as she swept her gaze across the employees inside the elevator. Could it be that they don't even recognize me, the CEO? Wouldn't that be? Qingya's change in the past few days was very big, especially today. If it wasn't for the fact that Yi Hua often met Qingya, Yi Hua wouldn't dare to be sure. The current Qingya couldn't be described with words. It smells so good. How can this fragrance be so special? It must be the fragrance of the woman behind me. After so many years of fighting, this should be the fragrance of her body. Is there such a body fragrance? The one in my family also has a body fragrance and every time she smells me half to death. Hearing these teasing words, Qingya's expression became even colder. Just how does this Lu Heng manage his employees? His employees are just like this. This time Qingya misunderstood. With your looks, would men be able to stand it? Wasn't it just to satisfy his craving for words? When he passed through the lobby, the elevator opened. Director Lu. Director Lu. Director Lu. All the employees were taken aback. They shouted at the man standing at the elevator door respectfully. Lu Heng was already used to it. Just as he was preparing to enter the elevator, his gaze focused and he hurriedly shouted, Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing? All the male employees in the elevator were stunned. Who was Director Lu calling Director Qing? He was even bowing with such respect. Immediately he thought of the woman behind him. Thinking about it again, there was only one person who could make Director Lu treat her with such respect, and her surname was Qing. That was the cool and elegant Qingya. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. The employees in the elevator sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Thinking back to what they said in the elevator just now, their hearts became cold. I actually took liberties with the CEO. I'm finished. Qingya replied calmly. Not knowing who was the one who quietly ran away in an instant, the elevator that was full just now was empty, leaving only Qingya alone. Director Lu, pay attention to the problem of the employees' quality. Qingya reminded coldly. Lu Heng did not dare to say much and hurriedly nodded his head. He carefully walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. The moment when the elevator door closed, the entire lobby went into an uproar. What happened to you all just now? What did you all run out for? A girl asked curiously. Damn, it scared me to death. I actually took liberties with CEO Qing just now. I'm finished. I can forget about getting promoted in this lifetime. I was just preparing to run for the position of team leader. What? Xiao Qing came. All kinds of gossip immediately spread out in the lobby. Some said that CEO Qing came back to prepare for the marriage. After all, Long Outian's matter had caused an uproar. Unfortunately, Long Outyan was currently still training in the mountains and it would be hard for him to come back in a short while. Standing not far away was a security guard who looked rather handsome. Hearing the surrounding discussions, he slightly frowned. This Xiao Qing was the organization's final mission. Presumably, this woman had a lot to do with the organization's destruction. But to be honest, this woman was very beautiful, but with her capabilities she was still not enough to destroy the organization. Just who was it? To be able to destroy the organization in an instant, that person's ability was definitely very strong, but I myself am not weak either. Arriving at the top floor, Lu Heng said respectfully, Xiao Qing, the office is already prepared. No need hold a video conference today, I have some matters that I need to hand over, in the future we will use video conference. Xianxia said faintly. Giving birth to a child cannot be sloppy, the child has to properly recuperate. If not, that fellow Yihua will definitely make a big fuss. I wonder what kind of reaction he will have when he sees the note that I left behind. I reckon that he will explode from anger. I won't talk back when I go back this afternoon. Lu Heng was sure that this matter was related to that man, but he did not dare to speak carelessly. Xiao Qing, I understand. Go and gather the higher-ups for a meeting. Yes. Xianxia mainly wanted to explain the company's development route for the next few months, and also to buy a broadcasting platform for her sister. In order to achieve the goal of fast growth, buying a small company would do. With her sister's fame, the company would be able to instantly become a large-scale broadcasting platform. While Xianxia was working hard, Yihua looked at Happy World out of boredom. Just that he was a bit absent-minded. After checking his body for a bit, he did not find anything strange. Turning on the computer, Yihua asked Baidu what was his situation. What kind of answers are these, stupid? Yihua said displeased. How can I possibly be absent-minded because of a woman? This is truly a fantasy. Definitely not possible. Drooling while sleeping, moaning while dreaming, making weird sounds, and even likes to contradict me. All kinds of bad habits gathered together. If not for the fact that she is pregnant with my child, how would I possibly look at her differently? Misconception. Definitely misconception. Taking out a stick of cigarette, Yihua began to puff out smoke. This woman really messed up my life. Ah. Yihua frowned. This sister-in-law of mine likes to make a big fuss when she has nothing to do. 10 minutes later. Ah. The corner of Yihua's mouth began to twitch. Another 10 minutes passed. Chapter 56. Brother-in-law. Qing Yutong threw herself into Yihua's embrace with a crying tone. This was not Qing Yutong pretending, she was really scared. What kind of freaking game is this? I just parachuted and picked up a small pistol, then the moment I opened the door, bang bang bang, I died. There was also a gun. I happily picked up a 98K, and just when I walked up the stairs, bang bang bang. Qing Yutong felt that this game cannot be played, such a big map and there are only a total of 100 people, but I keep feeling that there are 99 people staring at me. The main point was that the sudden gunshots practically scared Qing Yutong to death, because the system said to adjust the volume of the earphones to the maximum. That way she would be able to hear the footsteps, but Qing Yutong could only hear her own screams. Although she had the system's assistance, she was still a girl after all. Her state of mind was not that good, and it was very easy for her to be scared by unknown things. What happened? Seeing that his sister-in-law was so wronged, Yihua asked gravely, "Who dares to bully my sister-in-law?" Qing Yutong pointed at the computer and said pitifully, "They bullied me." Yihua went closer to the computer. "It is just a game, what a fuss. Brother-in-law, help me take revenge." Qing Yutong was unwilling. Brother-in-law looks very powerful, he will definitely be able to get chicken. Yihua sighed. The games developed by humans are too childish. What's the point of this kind of virtual fighting and killing? Boring. However, his sister-in-law was bullied. As the brother-in-law, as the supreme overlord, he had to get back his face. How do we play? Yihua lit up a cigarette and asked faintly. At the start there is no parachute, equipment is all snatched. Although Qing Yutong did not finish a few rounds, she still managed to comprehend the profoundness of the game. Yihua thought that it was something and said faintly, "Bring me an ashtray." Qing Yutong eagerly went to prepare an ashtray, soda, spicy bar, and even stood behind Yihua and gave him a massage. It was simply a 5-star enjoyment. Brother-in-law, click on that game and start. Yihua clicked on it unhurriedly and very quickly he entered the game. Brother-in-law, you need to wear earphones to play, if not you won't be able to play well. Qing Yutong reminded. Yihua flicked the cigarette ash. Just watch. Oh, Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Brother-in-law is so awesome he doesn't even need to wear earphones. Right after the image appeared, Yihua narrowed his eyes and instantly pressed the F button. Brother-in-law, why did you press F so quickly? You have to look at the map? Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Yihua said gravely, be quiet. Oh, controlling the keyboard and mouse, Yihua was finally able to land on the ground safely. Brother-in-law, there's someone running towards you. Quickly run. Qing Yutong immediately became excited, and both of her hands slapped onto Yihua, telling him to quickly run. What kind of joke was this? As a supreme being, did he still need to run? Back then he had faced an enemy 10 times stronger than him without any fear, yet a mere human wanted him to run. Childish. Brother-in-law, he's coming. Hammer him. Yihua snorted coldly. A mere trash actually dares to strut around in front of me. Brother-in-law, move. Qing Yutong hurriedly shouted. Unhurriedly Yihua pressed his left button and threw out an uppercut. His opponent suddenly jumped up and punched him. The screen turned black. Yihua. Qing Yutong. The other party's voice immediately rang out from the earpiece that was placed on the table. Brat, spar with me, the king of fist, you better practice more. Yihua stared blankly at the screen. Qing Yutong understood her brother-in-law's current feelings and consoled him. Brother-in-law, don't be afraid, stand up and continue rubbing. How is this possible? To actually get my head blown up by a mere human, this is simply a great humiliation, and I even received consolation from my sister-in-law. Lighting up another cigarette, Yihua re-entered the game. I was careless just now. Brother-in-law, don't be anxious, let's jump to a place with less people. Although Qing Yutong was timid, she still had some brains. With my current level, we definitely cannot jump to a place with more people. Yihua opened up the map. How can I possibly jump to a place with less people? That would be a display of cowardice. I, the Supreme Overlord, have killed countless of people. When have I ever been a coward? Brother-in-law, why did you jump to such a densely packed house? I was forced to death by that old man just now. Be quiet. Yihua said gravely. A lousy game can't even get me, the Supreme Overlord. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. Seems like brother-in-law is even more of a noob than me. And he even has such an unfathomable look on his face. Yihua observed for a bit. At least 10 plus people jumped to this place. Then I shall let you all see the consequences of angering the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, quickly enter the house and pick up the gun. Yihua did not even enter the house. He stood on the main road and said in disdain, guns are things for children to play with, fists are the hard and fast rule. Qing Yutong was stupefied and said foolishly, brother-in-law, can you not act cool? Right after Qing Yutong finished speaking, the screen turned black. Shameless humans. To actually launch a sneak attack. To not even have the courage to fight one-on-one. How is this any different from those humans in the past, bastard? Don't think that Wei Chang's one-track mind came for no reason. Like boss, like subordinate. Brother-in-law, how about returning the gun to me? Qing Yutong said tenderly. Brother-in-law's expression didn't seem to be too good, it even turned black. Yihua did not say anything and once again clicked into the game. It was still the same place, but this time, Yihua did not stand in the middle of the road. Despicable humans, you all are destined to suffer the wrath of the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, gun. Qingya pointed to a corner of the house. I am not blind. Yihua used a very slow speed to pick up the M16 along with the 60 bullets. I never thought that there would be a day where I, the Supreme Overlord, would use a gun. This is so ironic. Just when he finished searching a small bedroom, he turned around. Bang! A shotgun ended Yihua's character, and the screen turned black once again. The cigarette in Yihua's mouth burned out, and the ashes slowly fell down just like Yihua's mood. I was actually killed by a human 3 times. A whole 3 times. This is an extraordinary shame and humiliation. If this hatred is formed, do you believe that with a snap of my fingers all of you will die? Brother-in-law, I told you to wear your earphones, but you didn't. You are so noob, and I was actually looked down upon by my sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, don't be angry. Sister-in-law will take revenge for you. I even need sister-in-law to take revenge for me. If this were to be spread out, where would I put my face? Brother-in-law, how can you be so shameless? I want to play as well. Only then did Qin Yutong experience the fun of the game, while Yi Hua was driven mad by this game. Brother-in-law, how about you go and buy a high-end computer and place it here, then we will be able to play as a duo. The computer in your office definitely won't be able to play. Yi Hua was a person who would definitely take revenge on any grudge. Other than Xianxia, this game made Yi Hua very angry. Help me buy it. Phone, Qin Yutong stretched out her hand. I didn't expect that I would inadvertently create a situation where I am playing a game with brother-in-law. From now on, I won't be far from pushing brother-in-law down. Chapter 57. If Yi Hua's subordinates were to find out that his honor had actually injured himself because of a game, I wonder what they would think. However, Yi Hua's subordinates would definitely come over to persuade his honor. Your honor, this is just a game, there is no need to be so serious about it. When Yi Hua became serious, even he himself would be afraid. One must know that Yi Hua had relied on himself to walk onto the path of a king step by step from a small undead. The hardships and deaths that he had faced on this path were something that only he himself could understand. However, he had never said that it was bitter, and he also didn't feel that it was bitter. In fact, it was even a kind of enjoyment. Before the computer arrived, Yi Hua was silently watching his sister-in-law play the game, and from there he could understand the characteristics of the game, even though she would not last more than 10 minutes every time she played the game. If Xianxia was a whining monster, then her sister-in-law would be a shivering monster. Every time she was mysteriously beaten to death by someone, her entire body would tremble, and her eyes would become absent-minded. Afterward, she would turn her head around and look at me pitifully. That expression of hers that was begging for consolation was simply unparalleled. This sister-in-law was indeed different. Xianxia wouldn't reveal such an expression. On the other side, Xianxia was currently sitting in the conference room and eating lunch boxes with the company's higher-ups. Of course, it was to speed up the conference. Looking at the entire conference room, there were only 2 middle-aged women among all the higher-ups. The rest were all men. Although it was a conference, it was also an appreciation party. Even when they were eating, they still peeked at the female CEO who was sitting at the head of the table. How could there be such a beautiful woman in the world? He had gone to the headquarters for meetings in the past. Although it was also very amazing at that time, it was not as explosive as today. No matter how delicious the food in front of him was, it could not be compared to the feeling of quietly glancing at him. Meanwhile, after Xianxia ate a few mouthfuls, she couldn't eat anymore. It wasn't that it wasn't tasty, rather she felt that it was a bit disgusting. Thinking to herself, this is the symptom of a pregnant woman, Xianxia blamed Yi Hua in her heart. If it wasn't for him, would I be feeling so disgusted, especially today? She didn't know what he was doing now. Didn't he know how to call to show his concern? He wasn't behaving like a husband at all. Upon seeing the ring on her ring finger, Xianxia's negative emotions immediately disappeared. Feeling elated, the corner of Xianxia's mouth unconsciously revealed a light smile. Silly. The sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard in the conference room. Their eyeballs were about to pop out. So Xiao Qing looks like this when she smiles. She's really beautiful. She's so beautiful. Xianxia took a glance at everyone, and everyone immediately lowered their heads to eat. I was originally already pretty enough, but now that I have become so pretty, it is also a troublesome thing. I will definitely incur the jealousy of others, especially those noble women. It is all Yi Hua's fault in any case, I am the scapegoat. I don't know what he's doing now. He's definitely ordering takeout, and it must be crayfish. He's letting his sister peel crayfish for him. It's good too. When his sister can't take it anymore, she'll naturally go home. The meeting continued all the way until 4 p.m. Other than the half-an-hour break during the meal, the meeting had been going on the entire time. It must be said that Xianxia was very formidable. Her reputation as a strong woman was not undeserved. Meeting dismissed. Xianxia shouted coldly, picked up her bag and walked out of the conference room, preparing to go home and see what Yi Hua was doing. In actuality, Xianxia was also very nervous in her heart. If I were to open the bedroom door and discover Yi Hua and my little sister lying on the bed, what should I do? This fellow is definitely capable of doing it. The higher-ups didn't know why the CEO was so anxious. Perhaps only General Manager Lu Heng had figured out a little, but he didn't dare to say much. Driving the car, Xianxia rushed back at top speed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. This is definitely the attitude of a wife catching her adulterer. If Yi Hua really dares to do something that lets me down, then I will perish together with him. Xianxia, who was driving the car, began to let her imagination run wild. The scene of her man and her little sister lying on the bed actually appeared in her mind, causing her beautiful eyes to turn red. Sigh, there's nothing I can do, my pregnant woman syndrome is acting up again. I love to let my imagination run wild. Stopping the car at the entrance of Leisure Bar, Xianxia took a few deep breaths and walked into Leisure Bar. There was no difference from when she left the bar. Quietly going upstairs, Xianxia's heart was beating faster and faster. Especially when she was standing at the entrance of the bedroom, her entire body was nervous to the limit. Her delicate hand that was holding onto the door handle was trembling. This door is already opened. If it is really the same as what I imagined, then what should I do? Don't open it? I should first give Yi Hua a call and tell him that I am coming back. This way I won't know anything. With a very complicated feeling, in the end, Xianxia still chose to push open the bedroom door. When she saw the neat big bed, the top of the bed was completely empty, and a rock that was suspended in the air was placed down. Could it be that this fellow is watching Jubilant movie in the office? How old is he already? Really, in the future he should just bring the kid to watch cartoons. Pushing open the door of the office, the inside of the office was also completely empty. Where is he? Xianxia silently looked towards the storeroom that was previously in the office. Right now, it had become her little sister's bedroom, and Yi Hua is actually in her little sister's bedroom. The rock that was originally suspended in the air once again. Xianxia tightly clenched her delicate hands, stood at the side of the door, took a deep breath, then fiercely pushed open the door. A foul atmosphere could be seen inside, and two figures could be seen in front of Xianxia's eyes. On the table at the side, there were 2 buckets of instant noodles and an empty package of spicy gluten, and the red soy sauce inside the package had all flowed onto the table. How can these 2 people be so sloppy? Brother-in-law, give me the expansion clip. Change the silencer. How can it be like this, brother-in-law? Your marksmanship is so lousy, you can't even hit the person. Change the silencer. Shoo, someone is coming, quickly hide, quickly hide. Xianxia didn't know whether to laugh or cry. These 2 fellows are actually playing a game. Seems like even being joyful is unable to satisfy their childish hearts. Walking in quietly, Xianxia stuck her head in between the 2 and took a look curiously, only to see that the 2 of their characters were lying on the haystack. The little sister had a nervous look on her face, and Yi Hua looked very strange, as if he had eaten a fly. Qin Yutong originally wanted to mock her brother-in-law, but who knew that when she saw a head of black hair, she was scared witless and unconsciously pressed the left mouse button. Tap tap tap. Yi Hua said gravely, Qin Yutong, what are you shooting for? Don't you know that you will be exposed? Big sister, you are annoying. Don't make any sound when you walk. Qin Yutong's fist landed onto Xianxia's arm, and she immediately controlled her own character. The other party already knew her position. Brother-in-law, cover me, I am going to fight with them. Yi Hua shouted gravely. Fight for what? Go around to the side. Seems like after going through countless of deaths, Yi Hua also knew how to use tactics. Thinking back then, Yi Hua never used any tactics. He would just push his way through, firmly believing that all tricks were just paper tigers in front of absolute strength. Brother-in-law, I got knocked down, quickly come and help me. Why are you so stupid? Yi Hua couldn't help but say. In this game, forming a party relied on team spirit. If I played this game a few hundred years ago, how could I possibly be wiped out by that group of humans? You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.